every single one of these comments.
We're live. X
Okay.
fucked up.
I messed it up. I forgot to do the countdown.
Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here also, we've got the king of comments, the magnificent Son X.
Next time, let's get it.
He had a little bit of a gaffe, I guess, earlier getting it started. He forgot to run, I guess, the little 30-second.
Nobody wants to wait 30 seconds. They're energized. They want the podcast now.
Is that what it is, huh, X?
That's what it is. I was just doing what the people wanted.
Just
I was
doing
getting
what the
on-
people wanted. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, X never ceases to amaze me sometimes. X. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is I guess not a twice a week. This is a all sports podcast that happens every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You may be
Or
looking down
8:45.
at your clock saying, well, TJ, what's going on? This is 8:43 Eastern Standard Time. Usually we run a little fashionably late. That being said, it was daylight savings yesterday. It's got me all thrown off there time-wise. So, but yes, if you're new to the show, welcome. We talk anything and everything sports on this channel. We talk MLB, we talk NFL, Grumpy, we talk NFL, we talk college athletics, we talk literally anything and everything sports. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we produce, there's a few things that I ask you to do. I ask you to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future videos, right? Any of our future podcasts. And I also ask you to like the video. If you like the video, apparently that helps the algorithm and it gets this fun time of talking sports out to the masses. For today's podcast, right, there's a lot to cover. Ever since we're only doing them once a week, there's always going to be a lot to cover. But, NFL free agency starts tomorrow. We've got March Madness to discuss, upcoming March Madness to talk about. I'm getting excited there for the NCAA tournament. We're going to also be talking about the MLB season right around the corner, and the NHL trade deadline just happened. There's a lot to talk about. I think the best topics to start off with, right? NFL free agency starts, or the legal tampering time period starts tomorrow. Nothing better to go ahead and discuss than what we think is going to happen for this NFL free agency and how that's going to have an impact on this year's NFL draft. Grumpy and X, kind of want your opinions on this upcoming NFL free agency. We've got some big name players that are out there that are going to be free agents this year.
I have a question.
Yes.
Tomorrow, when does the free agent tampering period start? Is it like at 3:00 in the afternoon?
I don't know exactly the time, but I have a feeling
Usually-
it's also gonna be like within the form of minutes after it opens that there's going to be contracts being announced. They're just
Yes,
crazy. The negotiators and these players just have their minds made up, and they're just so decisive when it comes down to making a life-changing or life-altering decision.
Yeah, I just found that interesting how that happens. Now, teams were able to still negotiate with their own free agents. Is that correct? And up till
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah. You could discuss with your guys as like, hey, we want you to have an extension, blah blah blah.
And we have had a few of those also. Big signings, people staying with the same teams. Baker Mayfield staying with Tampa Bay
Tampa
Buccaneers.
Bay, Mike Evans, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think I sent you X like a scorecard so we could see who signed back. But I always find it amazing that the tampering period starts like at 3:00, and at like 3:00 they'll come in with a raft of deals. I don't even know how it's possible, since you're not allowed to tamper until that Monday. All of a sudden they have deals done. Everyone knows these deals are done at the combine or before. They're always talking. I don't even know why they even put up the charade of tampering period, honestly. Because by the time tampering period is over, which is 3 days, all the free agents are signed.
Yes.
which I find that interesting. I just find it kind
Hey,
of
there's going to be a deal agreed to, and this is a player going here, and this is the amount of term, and this is, they'll know magically, they'll know so much. They'll have the contracts already pretty much drawn up. It's crazy, I think.
it's ridiculous. Did you see the deal for Chris Jones? Oh, TJ left. X, do you have any comments on free agency tampering period or anything?
No, we all know that stuff goes on behind closed doors. They've been talking about it probably during the season. There's always tampering that goes on with all sports.
Isn't it illegal? I don't know.
Nothing's going to happen. Guess what? If they can't prove it, nothing's going to come from it.
Okay. TJ, what did you think about the Chris Jones contract in particular?
Huge deal.
Just to let people know, in case you were unfamiliar, Chris Jones signed a 5-year, $160 million contract. Call me crazy. I don't know if he's going to see the end of that contract.
Well, $95 million is guaranteed. So you're looking at here's the thing. He's older. He's 29, going to be 30 next year. How long do defensive tackles last where they're that good? I mean, his salary cap hit this year is $32 million. That's an awful lot.
It is.
I mean, do we just want to kind of go down just and kind of glance at some of those and talk about it real quick?
Can.
Or, I mean,
sure, we can. Kirk Cousins, that's the big name. That's the big name right now in the market there. He's, where is he going to go? Right. Russell Wilson, since our last podcast, he was released by the Denver Broncos. So Russ is going to be a free agent. Ooh, where does he go? But
done.
like Kirk Cousins apparently is still in contact there with the Minnesota Vikings. So, the thought process is maybe he can come back. I'll tell you, if Kirk Cousins doesn't come back, it's time to just blow the team up. I think that the Vikings should be headed in a different direction to begin with, to be quite frank.
Vikings are looking for a quarterback. Chris Jones. Kirk Cousins. There are 3 teams supposedly in the running for him. It's, like I said, Minnesota, who's still in contact, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, he was looking to purchase a home in the Atlanta area. Usually that's a dead giveaway, right? We've talked about that before. Follow the real estate. It's usually a good determination of where players are going. I mean, he's 35. Do you think he gets more than a 3-year deal at 35 years old?
Probably not. Jesus, I tell you one thing. These ads they've got and they run all over the place is just freaking ridiculous. Let me try to refresh this page here. Christ almighty. But yeah, when you start looking at it, I think, right, follow the real estate absolutely is important. But right, if you're the Vikings, right, you could probably lose in all likelihood Kirk Cousins. It's at blow it up time period, right?
It depends on what they're looking to get another quarterback.
What are they going to do? Bring in Russell Wilson?
No.
I heard Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh. There's interest from both parties. Russell Wilson is willing to take like a league minimum deal. Why not when you just got paid $85 million to walk away from the Denver Broncos? And he's looking, but I don't think he's looking for more than a 1, maybe a 2-year deal tops. He's looking to reestablish himself.
He's washed.
But if you look at his stats, they weren't half bad last year. But
a lot of those were garbage yards, trying to play catch up in late in games. I'll tell you this, Pittsburgh, if they turn their back on Kenny Pickett, worst decision the franchise will ever make.
Okay.
Kenny Pickett sucks ass.
They're thinking about blowing up that useless quarterback room. They don't have a quarterback. Why else would they be going after Russell Wilson? Pittsburgh's also looking at possibly trading for Justin Fields. There's going to be guys available out there. There absolutely are.
Justin Fields is just, in all seriousness, any of those options don't help the Pittsburgh Steelers out. They seriously don't. You think Justin Fields has a chance to develop in anything besides a scrambly quarterback who can't read defenses and has happy feet in the pocket? Do you think anything happens with my shoulder is bum? I've got a bum shoulder, and I've had lackluster season after lackluster season, dating back to my last year with the Seahawks and now 2 or 3 years that I've been with the Broncos. Do you think there's any chance of him to salvage 3 or 4 hideous seasons in a row? I think he's finished. And it's like the carousel. Why give up assets unless it's nothing, right? The only one that makes sense is maybe Russell Wilson to me. But it does not make sense to trade even a third-round pick for a guy like Justin Fields.
Okay. What does it tell you about what Pittsburgh thinks about their quarterback room?
Don't think it's good enough.
It's not even close to being good enough. I heard that they want to blow it all up, blow up the quarterback room. Means no more Mason Rudolph, no Kenny Pickett. And I think they'll keep Pickett because he's cheap. But if you're bringing in Russell Wilson, is he the type of guy who you could look at him to help mentor a younger quarterback? I don't think so. Anybody who's been a big-time starter in the league isn't looking to mentor a guy who's going to take over their job.
Christian Wilkins, where does he go? Right?
He's the biggest defensive lineman that's available.
And let me ask you this: what do you think about the Bake Nation, the Baker Mayfield contract? 3 years, he's almost making $40 million a year.
No,
on this?
It's 3 years, $100 million. It can be worth $115 million with incentives, and only $50 million is guaranteed. I thought that was a great signing by Tampa. People were saying he was going to make $40, $42, $43 million a year. He's not making that. He's absolutely not.
You like really quickly how Saquon Barkley on this list is rated the 16th guy. It's not like done in alphabetical order. I wonder how they came up with this ranking list.
Injuries.
Okay, would you say that Kirk Cousins is the number one free agent target going in? I don't think so.
For teams that need quarterbacks, yes.
Right, like for the value for what people want, perhaps. Wow, Leonard Williams. Oof. But like Barkley, right? That's a guy who you talk about trying to reestablish himself. That's a guy who tries.
He's a running back. He's a running back. That's why 27-year-old running back who's had an injury history. That's why he's that low. Calvin Ridley, right? 29 years old. Look at the age. I mean, Tyron Smith, I hear New England is looking to go after him.
Huh.
He's had an injury history, 1-2 year deal tops.
Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt's one of those guys where I saw a lot of Jets fans saying, "Ooh, we want Robert Hunt. Jets bring in Robert Hunt." I don't think you can have enough help on the O-line for the Jets. I think they need to be looking, right? Because like Josh Jacobs, right? He didn't have anywhere near as good of a season as he did 2 seasons ago when he was franchise tagged.
Running back.
That's a guy where if he's there on the cheap, Josh Jacobs is a good pickup. And it's like, like a guy for Robert Hunt, like if you have a team that has a positional need, I think he's the number one offensive guard out there. That's a good guard you can add to that squad.
Or Michael Owenu for New England. I think he was 15th. He's playing tackle, but he wants to play guard. So, I mean, and who knows if some of these guys are going to get locked up before the tampering period starts tomorrow, right? Where's Fat Boy? I mean, Patrick Queen is a guy's like, man, I'm absolutely willing to take a run at that guy.
Chase Young, baby.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I would for the Ravens.
Xavier McKinney.
Stephon Gilmore's finished. Young Clowney finished.
You look at these guys in their 30s, right? I mean,
AJ Vanessa. See, I like him.
He didn't pan out there. He's too small.
Well,
he's a guy who had great workouts leading up to his draft year, and his stock skyrocketed, and he ain't done anything in the pros.
I'm interested to see what his stats are. AJ Vanessa.
Not good enough.
Well, Buffalo's cut 2.5 sacks last year. It's not bad.
Buffalo's cut Tre'Davious White. I think Kevin Baird, who just signed with the Bears today, 2-year deal. They both had some injury issues, getting a little bit older. This Fat Boy, number 51, he's got no doubt.
He should be number 1. He's ahead of Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, who? Mekhi Becton, baby.
I mean, honestly, what team should be looking at Derrick Henry, right? Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
No.
Buffalo Bills.
No. If you're the Bills, pick up a guy like Josh Jacobs or a guy like, and I'm not a big Barkley guy. How much does Derrick Henry still have left in the tank? A 30-year-old running back. How much does he have left in the tank, you think?
Okay. You want to have somebody who's going to be able to pick up that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and not be Josh Allen. They tried with
James Cook.
With James Cook, just not stout enough. Just not stout enough.
Yeah, you know what? Guess what? Josh Jacobs can earn hard yards. So could Barkley. I'm just not sure how much left that Derrick Henry has in the tank.
Well, when you're cutting guys to free up salary cap space, you're going to go after the cheaper guy. Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley are going to make money. They're going to make what, $7, $8, $9 million a year. I think absolutely. Austin Eckler is still available. Where is he even on that list?
He's got to be further down. You see like Tony Pollard, like Curtis Samuel. Here's the thing. There's a
Odell
lot of
Beckham
guys
Jr.,
available.
Gabe Davis, DeAndre Swift, Tyler Boyd.
Like DeAndre Swift. There's a lot of guys that are out there that you could find, like, for a team that's looking to add some depth pieces. There's a lot of guys that are going to be available. Like, I think Eckler's done. Personally, I think he's cashed. I mean, like, he's 28-year-old running back who's had a lot of injuries in the past. You know, you don't get healthier the older you get.
You do not.
Yeah. I mean, like AJ Dillon, right? Like, that's the cheapest. I mean, like, he's a guy, like, he never really panned out for what they expected. But long story short, you're going to have a lot of guys that are available.
Can you go back up a little bit?
Sure.
Right. Stop. There you go. Number 86, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had a tough year in Detroit this year, but he's young. I think you could do a lot worse than him at the safety position. Same thing with Jeremy Chen from the Carolina Panthers. He's out there.
Chen's not bad.
You can get deals on guys. Just, you
Sure.
know, you got to know what you're looking for. Calais Campbell.
Kinlaw.
Zach Moss.
I can't believe that well, you know what? Kinlaw kind of uneven this year for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Minshew Mania down there at the bottom.
Well, he's right now. If you're a team like, let's say, the New England Patriots, and you're looking to draft a quarterback at number 3, and
Sure.
and you want to bring in a veteran, somebody who could help, and somebody who can, certainly give you more production than they got from Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi last year, you could do a lot worse than Minshew. Right?
Sure. Yep.
I mean, and he's a guy who will work with a younger quarterback as opposed to Russell Wilson. Mac Jones, speaking of Mac Jones, he got traded today to Jacksonville, which I thought was a little bit puzzling.
The only thing I could think of, I was talking to people earlier today, simply maybe Trevor Lawrence, because he had off-season surgery, I believe. You know, I wonder how quick he's going to be coming along.
Well, Doug Peterson really knows how to work with quarterbacks. He does. And, Mac Jones was not terrible. His rookie year, he led the Patriots to the playoffs, and he looked pretty good. Then they had, Matt Patricia was the offensive coordinator, and then the team just fell apart last year, and he got all the blame. Well, they had no weapons there. I mean, I mean, it was never going to work for him in New England after what transpired last year. But I think I knew somebody would take a flyer. I just didn't know who. I thought Denver might have been a spot for him, honestly, working under Sean Payton. I mean, but, Jacksonville, now they have a young quarterback room, right?
I'll be honest. I don't think, did he get surgery this offseason?
Who?
Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he got surgery.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit puzzling.
Just a backup. I guess he just seriously was brought in as simply a backup option.
Well, and you never know, because Trevor Lawrence has been dinged up last couple of years. Right. I mean, and he was, I think this year, because they didn't have a backup, he was rushed back into action. Remember, they were like 8-3 and the best team in the AFC. He gets hurt and they sputter out at the end. Wind up going, what is it, 9-8, 8-9, whatever it was.
Misremembering, Grumpy.
No.
Misremembering. He wasn't playing great football at that time period, despite them winning games. And he, did go out with injury, and then they still continued to lose.
Well, they were 8-3 when he got injured. They were 8-3 when he got injured. You know how I know he was on my freaking fantasy team? That's how I know.
He was miserable all season long.
Actually, he was on X's fantasy team that I run.
Yep.
That's the team he was on.
Oh, speaking of fantasy, I guess this is a good segue into this. We're going to be doing a fantasy baseball draft.
Yeah.
If you are interested in I guess we probably should have mentioned this on the Islanders podcast too, but I kind of forgot. If you are interested in joining a fantasy baseball league, there's a way to go ahead and get in to do that. If you email us at tjandgrumpy@gmail.com. That is what you need to do. tjandgrumpy@gmail.com. I'll put that up on a banner just so you'll know that. If you want to be in the fantasy league, we're going to be drafting next Sunday. We're just going to gauge where, interest is on that first to see when we draft, but we're going to be drafting sometime next Sunday.
Yeah.
Um,
And I know some people who listen to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast will be interested as well. So maybe we can just throw something out there on our Twitter page.
yeah, we'll do that.
I don't want to have 45 teams, though. It's too many teams.
Anyway, let's move on. So big, obviously, NFL free agency. That's big. Let's talk a little March Madness. Have you guys been doing any bubble team research? Have you guys been doing any, for teams that, absolutely have to make an impact this year at the conference tournament there in order to find a way and squeak into the
No,
March?
we actually only college basketball.
I can't do bubble teams for the tournament. I think it's too early. And like I said, for me, the biggest thing about college basketball is just the upheaval where the blue bloods are kind of not as good as they should be anymore. You're seeing it, right? You're seeing teams like Houston at the top, or Purdue, or it seems like everything's kind of messed up. You're not having great teams this year. Every week somebody's getting knocked down. Kansas is down. I think this first year that Kansas did not win their league title like in forever since Bill Self was there. I just find it interesting. They lost a lot. A lot of teams lost a lot of games down the stretch. Very interesting.
This year in general, and I don't know what it is, if it's like the changing of guards where it's like, all right, you're seeing some of the all-time greats of coaches over the last 5 years or so that are stepping away from coaching. And it's like just the game in general. Maybe it's like the NIL deals. I'm not sure what it is with college basketball, but it's like the disparity of a teams. There's a lot less. So the really, really good teams are not much better than the average to bad teams, if that makes sense.
Well, X and I have been talking about it. It seems like ever since COVID, our
interest is not there.
It's just not there for college basketball.
And I hate to say, I think TJ's right, though. It has to do a lot with the coaches. Like, you used to have the Roy Williams, Coach Krzyzewski rivalry that you just no longer have anymore. And it's like, I don't know. I just can't get behind. I can't get behind it anymore. The games just aren't as enjoyable. They're just not.
There it is.
I'm like Joe Namath. I couldn't care less about the team if they're struggling.
Oh.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Wow.
I don't know. I just don't. I can't get behind college hoops. I literally have, again, like I haven't watched college hoops since COVID. I'll watch March Madness, but that's it.
Look at the teams at the top, okay, of the API poll.
Yeah.
Houston. When was the last time Houston was any good? Phi Slamma Jamma? They have 3 losses. UConn's been pretty good all year. Purdue, they got that big goofy guy, Edey. Tennessee is number 4 in the country. Arizona, number 5. Iowa State, number 6. North Carolina, 7. North Carolina's been good this year. Marquette, number 8. When was the last time Marquette was like a viable contender? When Al McGuire was head coach?
Well,
and they won the title?
They were good towards, like, they had a few really good seasons back in the old Big East. But, we're talking like
they were not a top 10 team.
13, 14 years ago.
And then you got like Duke. Duke lost again to North Carolina. Duke is soft. They're soft. You look at North Carolina, you look at the teams that beat them, they have men on their teams. Where Duke's, I don't think any of those kids shave. And they just look soft, like they're boys.
Duke has no, and I mean no chance at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you got a guy who's painting fingernails and stuff like that before games and getting manicures and pedicures and he's painting his fingernails, good luck. I mean, like, oh yeah, I like to make sure my nail polish looks good for the game time. I'm like, what the?
It means you're more concerned about your appearance than how you play on the court.
And then you got
I've never heard anything like that before in my life.
and rounding out the top 10 is Creighton. Freaking Creighton. Creighton has 8 losses and they're in the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams have been losing
Right. Baylor.
this year more than any other. Like usually it would be like, oh, a team would be like undefeated. They'd have like 2 losses all year, and they'd consist of like the top 5 teams. And it's like now it's like everybody has a ton of losses, and it's just like I don't know.
It's
Like,
much more,
a big matchup used to mean something like, oh, you'd have a 2-loss team against a 3-loss team or something coming up. And like that would be a big game that everybody would watch.
Your Kentucky's 8 losses. Your band, like, there's a lot of teams that have plenty of losses like that. And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, gotcha.
and you got Baylor at 11, Illinois at 12, Auburn, and I got an Auburn basketball shirt courtesy of Johnny Mack.
Johnny Mac, are you wearing it, Crump? Is that your new shirt?
Yeah, it's right here. See?
See it. Stand up for a second.
I'm not standing up. Can you not see it?
Not really.
We can see good enough. You can see it.
There you go.
There it is. Auburn basketball. Auburn Tigers. There it is, Grump.
And very much appreciated from Johnny Mack, right? I mean, they were number 13. I know they were pretty good last year. Kansas, number 14, 8 losses. Kentucky, 8 losses, 15. Alabama. Is Nick Saban coaching the basketball team? 16th place with 9 losses. South Carolina is 24-5. South Carolina.
Yes.
Washington State, 18th. Gonzaga, 19th. Although how the mighty have fallen.
Yes.
BYU, 20th. San Diego State, 21st. Utah State, 22nd. St. Mary's Sisters of the Poor, 23rd. South Florida, 24th. And Dayton, number 25.
Flyers, baby.
I just think everything is wide open.
Think about how many teams there are that, there's only like 3 teams in the entire country or of Power 5 teams, top tier teams that have less than 4 losses.
Yeah.
You just like, yeah. And I'm like, Purdue, UConn, and Houston. Houston, not a Power 5 team.
No.
UConn, no longer Power 5, and Purdue is. Purdue's good.
UConn's good. UConn's a good team, though. UConn's good. They won national championship last year, UConn.
Yeah, a lot of things fell their way, didn't it?
Danny Hurley, who's Bobby Hurley's brother, was the coach of that team. They're good. Houston, UConn, remember they had Jim Calhoun as coach. Then they had Kevin Ollie, and now they got Danny Hurley. And all 3 of those guys have won national championships. I mean, Kevin Ollie, he won the 1 championship, and then it was kind of spotty. But Hurley's been good, and Jim Calhoun was really good. He put them on the map.
He was great. I mean, for years and years and years.
He put UConn basketball on the map. Absolutely.
I absolutely agree.
And now you look at UConn, you think, okay, well, UConn's going to be good because they're UConn. And that's, I mean, they're a good program.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all, Grump. You know, it's when you look at this year, though, you're right. I just think there's so many teams, and there's so many. The really good teams just haven't won all that often, and it's just like, okay, anything can happen. And there's something nice about that, right? Anything can happen. There's something nice about that, but in the same token, you like to be like, okay, gotcha. A loss or a win against this program means so much, but it's not like that anymore because you've got teams, top tier teams that drop games to shitty teams. Just how it is. Oh, Duke. Oh, they drop games to Pittsburgh. Oh, Chapel Hill. Oh, they're dropping. A lot of teams drop games that they shouldn't be dropping to lesser tier talent, and it just doesn't mean as much for the win. Where it's like, holy shit, we just beat the number 3 team in the nation. Yeah, well, the number 4 team in the nation has 8 or 9 losses. It doesn't mean as much. I
mean, if we just want to briefly go through the Power 5 conferences and just look at the locks and, teams that, have some, bubble teams, so to speak. Yeah. I mean, I think that might be informative for the people. I mean, the ACC, which is the country that I live in, they only have like 3 locks going to the tournament. And 2 of them are the Blue Bloods.
I think that's crazy, by the way.
You think
absolutely
3?
Crazy.
Okay. Well, North Carolina is a lock. They are the ACC tournament number 1 seed. Duke is second. They're a lock. And the Clemson freaking Tigers,
Third.
they're their third lock. Clemson was notorious. They went something like, I think, 40 years without beating North Carolina in North Carolina. And now they're a lock for the tournament. And then you look at, and those are the only 3 that, they're saying, oh, those are locks. But then you look at, it's a down year for ACC. It has been for the last couple of years, been down years. Virginia Cavaliers, they were always a favorite, right? They won a national championship how many years ago?
Sure.
And they're a team on the outside looking in right now. Pittsburgh Panthers, when was the last time they were any good?
Last year they made the tournament, Grumpy. But here's the thing. We've been bad ever since Jamie Dixon left. And even the last few years of Jamie Dixon, they've been bad. The Pitt Panthers have not been a really stout basketball team since they used to play in the Big East. And then it's like that fracturing hurt a lot of, same thing with Louisville. Same thing with Syracuse. Syracuse used to be a top-tier team. All of those teams in the Big East, when they used to recruit a little differently, the Big East basketball was different than basketball in every other conference.
They moved to the ACC, that's why.
No. Big physical basketball where guess what? Here's the thing. The little ACC schools come and play, depending on who the officials are, they didn't match up with the big physical Big East. Simple as that. But guess what? When you went ahead and got ticky-tack fouls called on you left and right, you had to adjust, and that's what's changed. But it's like, you look at a lot of those Big East teams that have left, really a lot of struggling points for a lot of them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, do we want to talk some of a couple of the other bubble teams are like Wake Forest. I mean, Wake Forest, when was the last time they were good? When Tim Duncan was there? I mean, it was a long time ago.
Wake's been okay.
And then Syracuse, first year without Jim Boeheim as coach. They're another bubble type team.
Yeah, they're not making it.
Right. Now, the Big 12 has probably been the best conference top to bottom this year. You have Houston Cougars, Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, BYU, Texas Tech, TCU, and Texas. Those are all locks for the tournament, right?
Really
and
quick, just to go ahead, finish up, sir.
And then who should be in Oklahoma Sooners, and then another team that has work to do is probably Kansas State.
There's a lot of teams that are on the bubble right now. It's this year just has the feeling because there's not a lot of disparity between the teams. Some teams that maybe deserve the right to be in won't make it. It's just what it's going to be. That's just the way it looks right now. That's just the nature of the beast. But it's think about it, right? Like teams like Pittsburgh, they're 22-10 right now. They lose in the first round. They're the 4 seed. If they lose in the first round of the ACC tournament, a 22-11 team doesn't make it in. I mean, they've got quality wins against like Duke. They've got quality wins over top 25 teams, but no, not going to make it. That's just how it is this year.
Got to win some games in your tournament if you're a bubble team. Have to.
Yeah.
Big East, you're looking at UConn, Marquette, and Creighton. Everybody else is like, okay, who's still got work to do? Seton Hall, St. John's, Villanova, Providence. I mean, those all used to be really good teams in the Big East. Last year, wasn't the Big Ten pretty good top to bottom last year, or am I mistaken?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, well now, you're looking at Purdue, Wisconsin, and Illinois. And then, possibly Michigan State. When was the last time Michigan State was on the bubble? I can't even remember, right? And Northwestern, maybe Nebraska, Iowa. I mean, Iowa's always a stalwart in the tournament. Pac-12 is always kind of weak. Arizona, Washington State. Where the hell is UCLA? They're not even in there. They have no shot of making the tournament. Maybe Colorado makes it, or Utah. No USC. No UCLA. Talk about UCLA not making the tournament, right? And the SEC, which is always pretty good. Tennessee's going to make it. Alabama, Auburn, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida. And then Texas A&M and Mississippi State on the outside looking in. I mean, those are your power conferences, but you're seeing a lot more of the mid-majors getting run at the tournament now. And did you hear that they want to maybe expand the tournament again? I'm like, why? Why not just put everybody in the tournament then? Everybody gets in the tournament.
That's the way it looks.
They want to expand it to, I think they want to expand it to like 72 or 76 teams. I'm like, why? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say is this. I hope this year brings some very entertaining games come March Madness time period. I feel like conventional wisdom as to putting, when people start assembling their brackets, which we're going to be doing, I guess, coming up soon for the tournament time. You're not going to get. I feel like it's just going to be an absolute crapshoot this year.
X, what were you looking at?
Oh, the Islanders game.
Oh, okay. He looks like a brontosaurus when he looks up like that. Look at how long that neck is. He looks like Merton freaking Hanks.
X, let's do this. We covered some of March Madness. We covered some NFL. Let's go ahead and start jumping in some comments here.
Can you do it with the neck, with the little neck swirl too? You know that.
There it is.
Derek Monroe, this is Alex's brother, says Arsenal sit back atop the Premier League, Carolina sweeping Duke on their home court to claim outright ACC regular season title. There is no such thing as a regular season title. What a great week of sports, fellas. There is no such thing. The ACC champion is whoever wins the tournament. And it could very well be North Carolina.
I got bad news for North Carolina. They're going to have to face Pittsburgh, and they ain't beating them.
Okay. Robbed again. This is from Alex Monroe. He's a crybaby, just like X is. Reds robbed again today. Third time's a charm, it seems. Several times against Tottenham, once against Arsenal, and once today. I guess this is how teams in Spain feel when they play Real Madrid. Damn shame.
Yeah, I'll put it to you like this. The Liverpool got very fortunate that Dooku hit a post, that Foden hit a crossbar, that they're hitting crossbars and posts left and right. And
that Ake fucked up to give up a penalty.
They're lucky. They're lucky they didn't get run at home, run off the pitch because they were the lesser of two teams.
I disagree.
No, Liverpool dominated that game, but without Ake's fuck up, they still don't score a goal. They don't win the game. They lose.
That's part of the game, though.
I'm just saying without Ake out there, they don't win. They don't draw.
The first half was all played in Liverpool's zone. They were completely dominated the first half. Okay. I don't know what game you're watching. Completely and thoroughly dominated. Just because you possess a little bit in the midfield doesn't mean we're giving you a round of applause. They were dominated today.
The second half was totally in Man City's.
Guess what?
Defensive
Every
zone.
single time they had a counterattack going, they had a cross or they had a crossbar or a post. You know what? I'll tell you this much: they were happy sitting back and letting Liverpool press, extend themselves forward, and hit them in a counter. That simple.
Yeah.
You had guys. Okay, here's the thing: you had center backs joining the rush, center backs joining the attack, and they were able to exploit that, which is the reason why they were ringing them off the crossbar and the post the entire second half. They just missed their chances.
Yeah, you could say the same thing in the other end. I mean, I thought
Liverpool hit a crossbar or a post that wasn't offsides.
I thought
Gakpo hit one, but yeah, he was offsides.
I thought Liverpool was a better team today.
Yeah,
that's all. Here's the thing: I didn't think Man City played particularly well today. Certainly not up to, I mean, Haaland never even touched the ball, really. He didn't get, I don't know what they did defensively, but it worked.
This was sent here. This was sent by, I don't remember who this, I think it was sent by Freedom Fund Adventure. He said, this is X's best friend. I have not listened to this video, so I have no idea, but it says NFL player says it's rigged and they want him dead for saying it. Oh God, let's listen.
About the NFL, that is rigged. Talking about the Hunt family, knee deep in the assassination of JFK.
Wow.
NFL is gay. Have I said this in a tweet like August 2020?
NFL is gay.
All of a sudden, they want to award me a special presentation. Just like how Franco Harris did a special interview before he was killed. This is how they get you, you former football players. They get you to show up at interviews. They get you to show up at presentations. And if you don't understand the numerology of anything, this is how they can get you and trap you. I would have gone and wouldn't know. And they could have easily put me in a predicament. I could have been at the bar. I could have been drinking. They could have came to my hotel. Any situation that would have fit my natural foolishness, which means either been drinking or been to fight with a woman. That would be the only thing they would catch me with, and they would tell you this is how I felt. He died from alcohol poisoning. He died fighting. And people would have believed it. If I went to that show and y'all would have heard that I got killed, and you would have told you I died. So
I
on
gotta
all
hear
the
Okay.
This
sounds like-
honestly, that reminds me of like Chandler Jones talking about Aaron Hernandez didn't do it, committed the murder when he was like going off the end. I'd say this is maybe a little superstitious. This is like a little like maybe petrified. He seems like he's a little on edge. Conspiratorial to say the least.
Okay. X, do you want to talk about this before I say anything?
This is your buddy after all, X. So-
I think the NFL. You know my thoughts. I think the NFL absolutely is rigged.
Okay. Larry Johnson was a really good running back. Played for Kansas City back in the day. My question is, at least he admits he has a drinking problem pretty much. It sounds like he was drinking before he went on this rant. I mean, to say that the Hunt family, and maybe it's true, the Hunt family was involved in JFK's assassination. I just think he's taken it down a whole bunch of rabbit holes. And then what was the other thing that he said?
He mentioned that he's like,
The
either
Illuminati.
I was going to be pinned on dying in a bar fight or drinking myself to death or like a DUI, something like that.
With
I'm like,
the numerology, like Franco Harris, like he was whacked. I don't know. I mean, I never
if
heard.
I was worried and they were giving me an award, maybe I wouldn't go to the hotel bar. I wouldn't let them know where I was staying if I was concerned with that, but wanted to take the award. But like you could, I mean, this is also fine too. You don't have to accept the award. That's fine. This does sound a little paranoid is probably the nicest way I would put it. Could something like that happen when there's a lot of money involved? Sure. Do I think that's likely? This one, probably not.
I am all for a good conspiracy theory, but this one's even a little bit far out for me. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if you ever watch sports with X, it's hard. It's freaking hard. It's hard. He and Alex Monroe just get into it over the silliest stuff. I mean, you're watching like today. He's like, "Oh, this should have been like the everybody's." I'm like, dude, it's not a foul. I mean, just watch objectively, please try. And speaking of conspiracy theory, here's Alex Monroe who says he's robbed again. X, were you going to bring the Vandy quarterback that was tracked down by the Italian mafia at Jason Aldean's bar in Nashville? Was approached to rig games and claims Alabama was a big team in rigging games. Again, like I said, the two of them, they're just freaking whacked out. Both of them. And Alexander's brother Derek is probably not too far on that track either.
Hold on, this is
down that track. They've already shifted. They've already shifted it to go on to the crazy track. Here we go.
Okay, Grumpy, please let me. Please, okay, Grumpy, thank you. But yes, ex-quarterback. He said that he was offered money and to go ahead and fix games by the Italian mob. Just so you're up. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to go ahead and pay to get access to that. But yes, this happened 9 hours ago. That's why like this story was just posted 9 hours. So this is very, very recent that this came out.
Mo Hassan, never even heard of him.
Hold on. Hold on. I like this one. Ex-Vanderbilt quarterback who threw 17 passes claims the Italian mob offered him cash to fix SEC games.
The Italian mob isn't even the big mob anymore.
Which mob is it then, Grump?
What's the big mob?
It's not the Italians.
So you don't know which one it is?
No, but it's not the Italian mob doesn't have that kind of power anymore.
Hassan claimed the wise guy told him.
Not since Michael Corleone went down.
Hassan claimed the wise guy told him almost every game in the SEC is rigged after approaching the former college signal caller at the Jason Aldean kitchen in the rooftop bar in Nashville. You know what this sounds like, Hassan? Maybe we were having a little too many drinks and somebody came up just talking and telling you stories. Some stories, drinking some beers. I'm like, who the fuck would believe something like this?
Okay. Here's the question I have. This guy's he's the Semyon Varlamov of quarterbacks for Vanderbilt. He's a freaking backup, right?
I want to hear from his mouth.
I was approached at Jason Aldean's bar in Nashville by the Italian mob.
What?
To fix football games.
I'll be honest. This sounds like a story
like
that
the
I do not need to be a part of.
I want to get drinks. And so I'm alone right now. I'm not with my friend group. He comes up to me.
Wait, he knew who you were?
Yes.
This is already a bad start.
He offered me $300,000.
He offered you $300,000?
He said, for something like this, my clients 250 to 300K for a game.
The Italian mob offered you 300K to do
Can we
what?
stop saying that?
He said, we regularly talk to guys in your position about fixing games.
Backups.
He said he named guys in the SEC who I don't want to say their names because they're in the NFL right now, and that's a bad look.
deal.
It's a bad deal. But University of Alabama, I will tell you that.
Holy crap.
He said almost every game in the SEC is
This
rigged.
Too much.
It's
It sounds like
rigged.
look at the way he's standing right here. Like, I'm coming to you with a business offer. I need to have something to help launch myself. After I finished up playing football, I really haven't had too many job opportunities. I need to get on the podcasting trail and tell my story. A book is coming out next that how the Italian mob tried to go ahead and extort me to give me money to throw games.
How much influence does a backup quarterback have in the game? Unless they were going to, whack the starting quarterback. But Vanderbilt,
Let's say the starting quarterback already got whacked in the game.
he threw
Or got
17
whacked the game
passes.
before.
He threw
Maybe that was
17
the game he was supposed to play.
Oh my God!
You
I
never
knew
know.
X would fall right into line with this.
You never
Vanderbilt-
know.
Vanderbilt was the worst team by far in the conference. You didn't need to pay them anything. Just them
He
showing
probably
up
would have been
on
the best
field.
team, but he got paid off to make him the worst.
Oh God! He's a backup quarterback. He doesn't play.
X, come on. Anyway, here you go. Derek Monroe, Grumpy.
I heard that Grayson Allen FaceTimed Kyle Filipowski on how to trip properly at halftime. Still didn't work. Tar Heels are just too damn good for them to handle.
No, he called Grayson Allen on how to break the single quarter 3-point record for the Phoenix Suns. That's what he did.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Alex Monroe says absolutely a penalty on Dooku. Undertaker kicking McAllister in the chest studs up. McAllister
No foul.
beat him to the ball in the box as well. I don't know what's worse, that or Vinny double choke slamming folks. That's not true.
Scoring offsides goals that are allowed to stand, and with his arm, and Perez controlling VAR. It's kind of reminds me of like Messi putting people in chokeholds is kind of what that reminds me of. But anyway, again, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like
X. It sounds like X for the other team. That's exactly what it sounds
Losers
like.
lament.
You know what it
Losers
sounds like?
lament.
It reminds me of the Liverpool losers lament that always, always, always happens. They sit at the top of the table for oh so long. They fumble it away, and guess what? No longer in first. And guess what? When Man City wins, I can promise you this: Liverpool will fumble a game the remainder of the season, and they will not win the league. And it'll be bye-bye Jurgen Klopp. Continue to enjoy the taste of second and third, as you always do. At least you'll play in Champions League this year, and you won't be playing in Europa League next year. That'll be good. But no more Jurgen Klopp. No more Mo
They'll just
Salah.
lose to Madrid again in
Later.
Champions League. It's all right.
Yep. See you later.
I think Jurgen Klopp is a great coach. I just don't know why he's leaving Liverpool.
I'm not a Jurgen Klopp guy.
He
He knows
doesn't want to stay with the league.
he's got financial constraints with them. That's as simple as that. Robbed again, Grumpy. Real fans think that they got depth while having to play Modric and Cruz, while Liverpool's starting lineup is filled halfway with under 23 academy. Well, they're not under 23 academy players. They're not like Harvey Elliott's been up with the team for how long, right? He's under 23, but he's been with Liverpool's full squad for quite some time. It's just wrong. Sociobal's not under 23. It's just wrong.
And you realize a lot of the Madrid starters are all
under
under
25.
23.
They're all under 25. All.
Here you go, Grumpy. Goon Goon.
Young TJ, was Jerry Lewis and Jerry Lee Lewis the same man, or were they birthed by different mothers?
I couldn't tell you who either of them are. I know one of them sang music, I'm sure.
No, that's Huey Lewis in the news.
Oh, God. They're both embarrassing, aren't they, Goon Goon? Do you know who Jerry Lewis is, X?
Comedian.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he like I think a guy who did like news, right?
Jerry Lewis did news. I know he was a comedian, which TJ found out last night when he had no idea who he is. Do you know who Jerry Lee Lewis is?
No, I
Singer.
don't know Jerry Lee Lewis.
He's a
He's
singer,
saying-
I think.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire, and he
Wow.
married his
Okay.
13-year-old cousin back in the day.
Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
It's good.
wasn't a first cousin, but it was like a cousin.
How old was he when he married this 13-year-old cousin?
I don't know, in his 20s.
God almighty. All righty. Robbed again.
That's Alex Monroe. Just call him who he is. Baker's new deal with Tampa Bay is laughable. $50 million guaranteed and 115 through 3 years. Okay, that's not what it is. It's 100,000. It's 100,000 for 3 years. 50
million, not 100,000. 100 million, not 100,000.
100 million for 3 years with incentives can be 115. So it's not the salary. Only 50 million is guaranteed. He's going to be there at least 2 years. Okay. That's absolutely going to be there at least 2 years. So I don't think that's a ridiculous amount for a quarterback in today's NFL.
He blows.
Sorry.
Baker's good.
Johnson making the claim that Ronnie Boy pays for his Instagram followers, despite times calling for desperate measures, don't they? What? Okay, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Doesn't the Pebble have more impressing matters to go ahead and to weigh his opinions on these days? It's time for him to start making a whole bunch of other statements that, anyway.
Here's the thing. I like The Rock.
I don't.
I do.
I have zero respect for that guy.
Okay. I liked him as a wrestler.
I did too.
And I know he likes the Instagram thing too. So maybe he's just a little bit jelly that Ronaldo has more than everybody else. That's possible.
You know, the more and more I hear guys like him saying he's natural and he's never taken steroids his entire life, I don't need to listen to a thing he says. If you can't even come forth and be honest about your steroid use, be like, what is John Cena next going to tell me he's completely natty? I'm like, come on, Dwayne. We all know you've been using since the moment you walked in. You probably were using back there in your Miami Hurricane days, back when you were playing D-line, to be quite honest with you.
But you first started
using in WWE, and you still are.
Well, Samoans are naturally big people, but he's absolutely
he's shredded. He's absolutely on the gear.
How old is Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
He's he's in his 50s. You don't stay that big in your 50s.
He's on the gear.
51 years old.
Yeah. All wrestlers, all of them, every single one of them have used steroids at one time or another. All of them. Certainly it was absolutely more prevalent, back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. WWE, formerly WWF, used to have their wellness program. But you know what? They would just have somebody else do the piss test for them. And it depends on how big a star you are. If you become a problem, all of a sudden they leak your drug test and you get suspended. I mean, I don't have a problem with guys using steroids. They only hurt themselves in the long run. I get to enjoy what they do out there, so I don't have a problem with it.
Let me ask you this. Does this look like a 51? This is. Let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen and gentlemen of the podcast. I want your opinion.
Well,
does this look like a physique? What is this, Grump?
That's a silly looking shirt for a 51-year-old to wear.
Does this look like the physique of a natural 51-year-old man?
That 51-year-old man is on the gear, yeah.
Yeah, he's on something. He absolutely is. He trains hard. I'm not saying he doesn't train hard, and I think he's actually smaller now than he was.
If you're taking performance-enhancing drugs, you still have to train hard. But I mean, who do you think we're kidding? You could tell based off the way the traps are. Like who?
He's smaller now than he was 2-3 years ago. Absolutely.
That is true. I think he's starting to tick back a little bit. Here's the thing. Like you can't do the same exact amount that you've always done your entire life, but my God, he absolutely is still on the juice. Look at the strut. Look at this. Look at the separation between the trap and the shoulders. I mean, like it's quite obvious and clear that is using.
Okay, but he has his workout. Here's the thing: if you're telling he's so much smaller than he was just a few years ago, if you tell me today that he's clean, I believe it because he has his workouts down to a science, and it takes. Okay, I'm just saying. If you look
these days too,
he's got it down to a science, sticking it in the ass.
If you looked at him 3, 4, 5 years ago, you're like, holy shit, he's ridiculously huge. He's not that big anymore. He's absolutely not.
I'm gonna let you know something. He's still using and abusing. I just don't like the fact that he feels like he's got to lie. I mean, like here's the thing, right? Like
he never answers the question.
6 weeks ago. Okay, this is December of 2023. And I mean, like, again, like huge, absolutely huge still. And again, like you still have to work out hard. I'm not complaining about that. the thing I don't like is I'm like, why lie? Why openly lie?
Okay, but
about that?
no one asked him the question, first of
Yes,
all.
that is wrong. That
Okay.
is wrong.
And he
People have
said
asked
no.
him the question, and Joe Rogan asked him the question. No, I'm 100% natural. Why are you lying?
Well, maybe
I'm
at
not
that time he was. That's the
I've
way.
never used performance-enhancing drugs ever in my career.
Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
I will pull it up for you, Grumpy. Don't
Okay,
worry, buddy.
pull
I
it
know
up.
you don't watch
Keep
it.
reading comments while we're pulling it up. Grumpy, read this one right now.
Okay, like I said,
Grumpy, read.
Oh my God. Grumpy, read. Why don't you read it, X, if you can? Go ahead.
Like the new Auburn basketball tee, Grumpkowski. Wear it proud and take the hoodie off. Ha ha. Look, wow, I read it. Okay, next one.
Derek Monroe says Stone Cold Chris Jones staying in Kansas City to complete the three-peat and possibly add more to it. Okay. TJ, this is a question for you. What are the chances that Kansas City Chiefs three-peat?
Okay, I ran across something funny that had mentioned. Well, actually, I'll pull up in a second. Chances they three-peat, 0. Absolutely none.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
I agree.
There's something I want to bring up that I think is important. Really quickly, this was, and also he mentioned it when he was interviewed by Fortune magazine. The Rock was clear that aside from that period of experimentation, he has led a steroid-free life. He has also had a clear message for those on the internet forums that doubt his veracity of his physical preparation. Sure, there's a lot of people who will be suspect of shit. He told Roberts, but they want to negate the hard work. He absolutely put the hard work in, but he said again, steroid-free life.
Yeah, except for a period of experimentation.
He tried to was younger in the interview in 2009, but me and my buddies did it back in the game. I was 18 or 19. We didn't know what we were doing.
No, he was doing
other than the 2 years when he was 18 and 19 years old. He's lived a steroid-free life. Was complete bullshit.
I'm going to tell you what. 4 or 5 years ago, he was ridiculously huge, and you knew he was on it. Bigger than any time. Look at how small he was in his last run at WWE around WrestleMania 19, when he was, mostly filming. He was a lot smaller. And then when he got huge later, I mean huge. But now, looking at the pictures now, he's lost a ton of weight.
I think he's dialed back.
Or he just knows how to train now better.
Hey, if you go from taking steroids to no longer taking steroids, you get things like gynecomastia. You're gonna show signs that you've used steroids in the past. He's still cycling steroids, not as much. That's what I believe.
Let's get to the next comment.
Anyway,
well, didn't we have something else?
Chris Jones, yes. What are your thoughts about Chris Jones, TJ? Do you think they three-peat? You said no shot in hell. Okay.
No shot in hell they three-peat. My thoughts about Chris Jones, man, that's a lot of money. That's another one of those contracts that are going to age poorly.
Yeah.
They'll just raise the salary cap, so it doesn't matter.
Well, they did it this year.
They're going to do it year after year after year after year. It's going to continue to raise.
You realize that's based on league revenues, and it's not like one team gets a salary cap raised. It helped out a lot of teams this year who were right up against the cap. It absolutely did.
Yes.
For the salary cap to go up $32 million, that was like 14% that the salary cap went up. Where during the COVID years, it barely went up at all. NFL was still making money hand over fist. I mean, it's ridiculous. All that, it's not like the TV money changed. What happened this year? The Taylor Swift effect, right? So that put more money in the coffers. Absolutely, right? But I mean, they spent almost all of that money, Kansas City did, on Snead, who's a franchise guy. They want to trade him. I don't think anyone is going to sign him. I just don't think they're going to do a sign and trade for him. And then Chris Jones. Chris Jones making $32 million against the cap. He's going to be a 30-year-old defensive lineman for a 5-year deal. Oh, my gosh. Like I said, I thought it was going to be maybe a 3-year deal, 5. Ooh, that's a lot of money. And I don't think, again, I think he's fantastic. I think him and Aaron Donald are the two best interior defensive linemen in the league.
Aaron Donald's head over heels better than that guy.
Chris Jones is a lot bigger than Aaron Donald. That's the difference.
Okay.
Aaron Donald's nowhere near as good as he used to be 3-4 years ago.
Oh my God, please. He's getting triple teamed every play. You don't watch any Rams games.
Neither did you.
Oh,
Chris Jones is really freaking good. He's really good. I said that they're the top 2 defensive linemen in the league. That's all I said. And I just think that's an awful lot of money for a guy who's going to be 30 playing defensive tackle. It's a lot of money.
Yep, it's not going to age well, but 0% chance of a three-peat, unless maybe they could still get the very creative officiating and very creative calls still going their way.
Think about it. Kansas City was nowhere near as good this year in the regular season as they were at the years previous. Because why? When everybody starts making more money, you can't backfill. You can't get supporting cast players who are going to get paid money to go there.
Same thing with the 49ers. It's going to be really tough for them with just how many good supporting cast pieces they've had for years and years and years to continue on this. It's just that simple.
Gungun says, if the Islanders make the playoffs and play the Rangers in the first round and beat them, but then suck it in the next round, would you be able to sleep more soundly? I think that's honestly best case scenario for the Islanders is playing the Rangers in the first round. I don't think they want no piece of Florida or Carolina. Absolutely none.
Carolina came out today and shit canned somebody 7-2 or whatever the score. They absolutely rolled.
Watch out for Carolina.
Carolina's I think Carolina is obviously the best team in the Metro. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Even though the Rangers are ahead, they're damn good. Damn good.
Alex Monroe says, good quote I saw today. Corruption in soccer wasn't questioned as much until Cristiano Ronaldo fell off. Find that interesting. I think it's something that Alex wrote down on a piece of paper and he read it.
Said that it was a quote.
And he said,
he's like, look what I found, guys. I did read this quote. Good gracious.
Put it in quotations. Rain says, you guys watching the Islanders? No, we're podcasting right now.
I do have it on though.
Okay. Islanders up.
No.
Islanders are up big, right?
Yep,
No?
they're up
3-1.
3-1. Yeah.
Alex goes, congratulations, Aurora, for TJ's shit Burnley. Man, Alex taking shots. Shit Burnley squad taking home their participation trophy and being the doormat for the other Premier League teams to walk over. Thanks for playing.
You know what it's like? It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you got a guy who's upset, right? His team has won hardware trophies more recently than the Burnley Clarets. So you kind of get a little salty, get a little upset. And when you see that, it's coming on the door. Hey, Liverpool, I know you've been at the top of the table the whole time, but we're going to go ahead and slide ourselves in there. Arsenal moves in. And then you're like, uh-oh, Man City's sitting right behind us. And you're like, oh, shit, don't worry. Liverpool will do what they always do. Blow games, lose leads, and lose games. And you know what? The league will do their damnedest to try to give Jurgen Klopp a legitimate Premier League title, right? Because the COVID year, right? Are we giving them a round of applause that they won when there were no fans in the stands? It reminds me of like when LeBron won his championships in the finals during that COVID bubble. That doesn't mean the same. No fans in the stands. You're playing just like exhibition games. You know what? Liverpool did win something then. But got news for you. Got news for you, Al. Don't be sad and upset just because you know Liverpool's going to get their asses just knocked. They're going to finish third. That's it. But that's so great. They're sitting first almost the entire season. They're going to finish third. See you later, Liverpool.
Let me just say that the rivalry between Alex and X is ridiculous. All right, Alex, I'm calling you out too, as well as X. His hatred, because I am not rooting for Man City. I don't want to see Man City win. I mean, like I said, I like Jurgen Klopp. I said today when we were watching the game, I said, you know what? They had both coaches. I said, you know what? Pep and Jurgen Klopp, I mean, they're two of the best coaches in the world. I think
agree
they
with
are.
that.
And X
Don
goes,
Carlo's better.
okay,
Don Carlo's better.
again. And he just did now what he did this morning. I said two of the best coaches. I don't think anyone can say that that's not true.
I agree with that. I don't like Jurgen Klopp, but I think he's one of the best coaches out. He's definitely top 5, right? There's no disputing that. And I mean, he's probably even higher. But like, I think Pep is definitely top 5. I think Ancelotti's top 5. I think there's a lot of really good coaches, but you can't, right? Like Pep and here, what it's going to be looked at going down is Pep. How many times did Pep and Jurgen Klopp battle? And how many times did Jurgen come up short? Year after year after year after year. And that's what we'll be remembered for. Completely coming up short. And the time periods when he was able to win a few, didn't even win there with Borussia Dortmund. Never even won league titles with them back in the Farmers League of the German league.
Until he got to Liverpool, it was like, can he ever win a title? Because he
could won, and it was during a COVID year. Congratulations.
I mean, here's the thing. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's absolutely. for the longest time, I thought he was the best coach in world soccer. I think Ancelotti is something special. I do. I never understood why Real got rid of him the first time to bring in Zidane because he didn't win Champions League.
Zidane was a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, I thought he was, but I think Ancelotti's a better tactician. I remember Zidane learned everything under Ancelotti also.
Oh, please stop.
Well, you realize that he was the assistant under Ancelotti, right?
Oh, man. I'm going to let you know something. He knew a whole hell of a lot from his playing days, too.
I don't know. Ancelotti never three-peated UCL, so.
No, that's correct. That's why he got fired, because he didn't win back-to-back Champions Leagues. They lost to Juve. But, I mean, I'm like, I never understood why they let Ancelotti go. I was glad when he came back. I think Zidane's a great coach also. He's more of a man manager as opposed to X's and O's, so to speak, where Ancelotti's better, I think, at X's and O's. He's the only guy to win league titles in 5 leagues and all the Champions Leagues. He's fantastic, phenomenal. And Pep Guardiola is really, really good too. But what do you have to be a really good coach? You got to have good players as well.
Good players, yep.
And that's the one thing you see. I think Diego Simeone is an excellent coach for Atletico Madrid. I think he's
not as good as players, not as much of a budget.
Right, but I think he's a really good coach too. I don't know. But just to hear X just negatively.
Okay, you realize that I was just saying that Ancelotti, in my opinion, is the best coach right now in the world.
I said was these are 2 of the best coaches in the world. He's like, no,
they're not the best. They're not the best.
No.
I go by the Ricky Bobby status. If you ain't first, you're last.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Andrew L goes, Russell Wilson, backup for Aaron Rodgers? No way. Not in a million years. Alex Monroe says, Russ to Pittsburgh, Kirk to Atlanta. Derrick Henry has apparently purchased real estate in Dallas, so likely to be a Cowboy. Always follow the real estate. Tennessee isn't too far from Dallas, though.
Yeah.
So, Goon says, but I mean, think about it. Tony Pollard, right? Oh, you can, and here's the thing. Ezekiel Elliott was at the, okay, he wasn't as efficient as he had been previously, because I thought he was really good with New England this year. But when you get the backup stepping up, it's different when you're not the lead dog. You saw the same thing with Alexander Madison this year after Dalvin Cook. And Tony Pollard's the same thing as Alexander Madison coming in for Zeke, where Matson came in for Cook, and you just see that they just didn't perform. It's easier to be the change of pace guy.
Yes.
Google says, Son X, I gave you a shout out last night. Can we all learn a little something from the bravery and quiet confidence that Son X has displayed lately? Amen, or back to the playpen?
Amen.
Back to the playpen.
Oh, boy. I'll say amen. There you go. Freedom Front of Edge goes, TJ, I sent you a short video to show X that he will love on NFL being fixed by a former player. I sent it to the Islander fans email.
I got it. Thank you. Yep. That's what you showed earlier, Rump.
Andrew L says, Jerry Jeudy to the Browns as well. I think that's a good – he needed a change of scenery.
He sucks.
Okay.
He sucks. He's terrible.
Okay. They got him for, what was it, a 3rd-round pick?
I thought they gave up nothing. The Broncos are absolutely in rebuild territory. Blow it up.
I think that's a good deal for the Browns.
Yeah, I think so too. Because think about it. Now you've got Cooper. Now, the issue with the Browns, right? They don't have a quarterback.
Well, they're expecting Deshaun Watson to be back.
Oh, I mean, like, I'll tell you this much. I thought Deshaun Watson, before the issue that he had with the masseuses and the issues off the field, and then before he hurt his shoulder this year, I thought he was a really competent quarterback. First year back, which was this last year, has me questioning my thoughts a little bit.
He was hurt.
You take some time off. You take some time off from football. Sometimes it takes a long time to get back there.
He missed 1.5 years with the masseuse thing.
Yep.
Then he comes and this is the first full year he's back, and he gets hurt pretty early in the season, and that was that. I mean, but I agree with you. You sit out of a sport for a long period of time, very tough to get it back. JP says, should I be offended that I'm finding out Shannon Hogan has literally never been on skates? No, why? JP also has anyone seen that intermission report?
Yes. Yeah, she's never ice skated before, and they're showing her out there learning how to skate.
Okay.
I have not seen it.
Now to you, would you say that somebody who's doing commentary on a sport should at least know how to?
Not her. I don't care about her.
No.
Okay.
if you're going to be talking about the team, like what
Does
her
she not
job
talk
is-
about the team?
She's a studio host. She's a
Oh,
studio host.
I thought she was like an actual
Rebecca.
commentator, like talks about the gameplay and stuff.
XXX. You know what it's like? It's like Rebecca Lowe. I don't need Rebecca Lowe to have been playing, Premier League soccer or like top tier soccer. You know what I need Rebecca Lowe to be able to do? To facilitate conversation, to talk about what's going on with the team and ask questions like, well, you just said this. How does that tie in with this? I don't need her answers. I don't want her input. I want her to facilitate conversation. That's what I need from her.
Okay.
She does that.
JP says, good evening. JP says, good evening, gentlemen. In the Eastern Conference Finals between Florida and Carolina, who takes it? In the Western Conference between Vegas and Dallas, who takes it? We got a long way before we get to that. We don't even have the team cemented in the playoffs yet. Still 20 games plus to go. Alex Monroe says, former Sand League goalkeeper says it's part of Ronaldo's contract to say good things about the league. Goalkeepers briefed to let him score 1 goal so his audience can stay entertained. Also let him get 1,000 goals.
X, why are you including some random quote by some guy who has absolutely no credence or validity behind it? X, why are you even
This
bothering?
gruntled ex-employee makes false claims to be relevant.
I don't
That
even
sounds
know.
like another quote from the Alex Monroe quote factory.
It's like fortune cookies almost at this time. He just writes his own and he goes ahead and puts it in his fortune cookie. He says, whoa, look at this quote I just found. All righty, goo grump.
Please look up Chargers offensive lineman Rashawn Slater really did this in college. It's the most fascinating footage of embarrassing jock behavior.
Oh God. I'll pull it up. Give me a sec. Hold on. X, leave that up for 1 second here.
Oh.
Well, we can bring that up. I'll get to some more comments. HB Carlos says, salute TJ and Grumpy and X. Salute Carlos. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Do you need that up still, TJ?
Yeah, what the am I finding the
Rashawn
We'll look at it. We'll look it up next time.
fucking A, Grumpy. I've got to look it up now. I'm not gonna remember to do this next time. You kidding me?
Chargers offensive lineman Rashawn Slater. I don't think his name is Rashawn.
It is Rashawn Slater.
I don't think it's spelt like that though. Really did this in college, and maybe it is. I thought it was spelt differently. Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you want me to go to the next comment?
Just continue.
Okay. Alex Monroe says, great ghost appearance from Holland today in a big game yet again. He needs more Burnleys to pad his stats against Harry Kane. Is Miles better than him in all facets of the striker position? Alex, I can buy into some of your stuff because I don't have a dog in the fight. You're 100% wrong.
That you're right. That's why a team that's won their league championship the last 12 seasons in a row is not going to win this year as soon as Harry Kane got there.
Harry Kane has never won
coincidental.
any hardware.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes down to the Ace hardware store and they won't even let him shop there.
Don't worry. Harry Kane played his entire career in the Premier League. Holland goes there 1 year and breaks the record for most goals in a single season.
And he puts them over the top to win Champions League, which they could
as
do.
a rookie. So,
yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Well, he's not a rookie. He's not a rookie.
He was a rookie when he transferred.
He's not a rookie. He's not a rookie.
He's a rookie.
He's not a rookie. He's not a rookie, X. Stop. Stop. He's not a rookie. Okay. Is the first year he ever played World Soccer?
It was his first year
and
playing.
He's not a fucking rookie. Stop. It's his first year in the league. He's not a rookie. It's not the first time.
You realize he won like Rookie of the Year award in the Premier League,
no,
right?
no.
You do know that. You're wrong.
Young player of the year.
He's not a rookie.
Wrong.
Okay? I mean, rookie means it's the first time he played.
It's okay. Wrong. Wrong.
Ridiculous.
Wrong.
Pathetic. See, that's where your argument always loses steam.
Wrong.
Is when you say dumb shit like that.
Wrong.
Goon says, if SunX continues to not obey his contract and doesn't help with starring comments, Islanders never say die, is it possible he may be fired and replaced by Baby Liza in a few years? I've seen, I mean, she's got more ability already. She's very good.
The lovely Paige, I think, would vouch for that as well.
Milo Brownie says, Baby L. I love it, Goon.
How's my boy Verstappen looking, my little brownie? That's
Have you heard the news about what's going to be happening with Verstappen, Grump?
No, what's going to happen?
He's apparently planning on leaving Red Bull and going to Mercedes because I can't remember who it was, one of the head guys in Red Bull was sexually harassing one of the female employees there. Red Bull is blowing up pretty much. So he was sexually harassing one of the female employees there. And there's actually like a contract. Verstappen's dad wants that guy gone Otherwise, Verstappen said he's going to leave.
Okay.
And then apparently there's something with the head engineer and that dude who was doing the sexual harassment where they have a contract that's written up. If that guy leaves, then the head engineer leaves. So either Verstappen will stay there, but they're losing the engineer who makes his car as good as it is for him to win all of his races, or that other guy leaves and the head engineer leaves and then Verstappen stays there, but they don't have the best car.
I would never let somebody else's behavior determine what I'm going to do.
I agree with that. But apparently that's been the news that he wants to go to Mercedes, Verstappen.
Okay, but here's the thing. Mercedes team isn't as good as Red Bull's. They're not.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's the best racer in the world.
I don't care. It's about your equipment.
Well, it's the engineer who produces the car.
Yeah, I mean the driver's, super important, but it's not like you're running. I mean, you have to have it's like let's put Chevy out there or let's put Ford out there. It doesn't matter. I don't care who the driver is. You're not winning with those guys.
Let's put Honda out there, baby. Get the Honda Civics out there.
I don't know if you saw the first race of the year. He won by like 22 seconds.
Oh, he's running for Red Bull though.
Well,
right?
no, it's because he has that engineer who makes his car.
Okay,
and he's a really good driver too. It's not the fact that it's only because he has a good car. He's a really good driver as well.
Red Bull invests in the best. I mean, that's.
I'm just saying. It seems like their team is blowing up.
Ferrari used to be the number one thing. Ferrari.
Well, Hamilton's going to Ferrari now.
Who?
He signed a deal for 2025. He's going to Ferrari. Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, he's going to Ferrari.
He's finished. That's why like I said, they used to be number one. They're not anymore. You should, whoever the best team is, that's where you should be, period. I could care less that somebody harassed somebody. I don't care. And to think that
I could care less about the team struggling.
That's it. Who cares?
So you don't think that guy should be termed for doing that?
Let it. Here's the thing. Let everything take its course. That's.
I mean, there's like evidential proof that he was doing.
I don't
text
care.
messages and all this other stuff.
Again, I could care less what somebody else did is not going to.
I couldn't care less about the team.
But I guess the thing is, if he remains on the team, I mean, like they tried to brush all this shit under the rug. Like,
what does it have to do with the race car driver? Absolutely nothing.
He doesn't want to be involved with those actions. You race for a team that allows sexual predators on your team. You want to be.
Now he's a sexual predator. Now he's a sexual predator.
Okay, somebody who sexually harasses people. You want to be a part of that?
Something different.
You want to be a part of that? Then all the Patriot players should have been. Yeah, you know what? Aaron Hernandez killed that person. Woo! We back him 100% for killing that person.
That's exactly what it's like.
That's what you sound like.
I don't want dude. It's like everyone saying I don't want to be on this team anymore because somebody over there did something. No.
It's not the fact that they don't want to be on the team because somebody did something. It's the fact that the team tried to sweep it under the rug. Is the fact that he doesn't want to be on the team.
You
anymore.
realize everybody tries to sweep everything under the rug. It's the first move that they do.
Okay, but that's the reason why he doesn't want to be affiliated with them anymore. Is the fact that they tried to hide this shit.
Again, I'm not letting what somebody else does affect me. I'm looking at the best situation for me, which guess what? The best team in the world is Red Bull. I'm staying there. Everything else can take care of itself. I'm not getting involved in something that's happening somewhere else in the organization. I'm just not doing it. If the guy is guilty, he'll get bounced. If he's not, he won't. I'm not saying, well, if he's not gone, I'm leaving.
If he gets bounced, then the engineer's gone. Who makes the car as fast as it is?
Okay, well then maybe who knows? You know what? Why don't we let things play out instead of the guilty until proven innocent deal, which is so prevalent in the freaking world today?
Dude.
Guilty until proven.
I will just say something. Do some information and look it up.
I'm rooting for Red Bull now.
That's all I'm going to say.
Go
do
Red
some
Bull.
information. And
Who's this guy? He's my new hero. What's his name? I don't even know who he is. Guilty until proven.
Get ready, TJ. Get ready. I hope you enjoyed it. The run's over.
Okay. I don't even know why you continue to go back and forth. I don't know. Honestly, I tuned you guys.
I know nothing about it either. He brought up it might not even be true. Who even knows?
Absolutely is true. Look it up.
I don't need to. You know what? I don't care enough about the inner workings of Red Bull Racing management team. I do not care about it.
I hope you're happy, my little brownie. You fractured our family forever with your Formula One friend, your Formula One fandom.
You know
Our
what?
family
I'm
will
gonna
never
tell you what.
recover
I
from
know
this.
why X is so ridiculously effed up. He got these blinking ass lights going on all the time. That would fuck up my brain if that was happening all the time. Just put regular lights on. What's with the fancy new chair? How long you had that chair, X?
I've had it for, I don't know, like a month or so.
Ridiculous. Alex Monroe says Peyton Manning pursuing Bill Belichick to join Omaha Productions and create the Manning cast with Saban and Belichick.
Well, I'll tell you this much. It didn't take him long to say, gotcha. I'm just going to go ahead and start my own.
Man, that's going to be awful dry. They're going to have somebody else in there to help them. Everyone says that Belichick is really funny. Now, you hear some of the stuff, if you've been watching this Dynasty thing on Apple Plus, man, he said some mean shit to players. I can see why Brady wanted to leave after being there 20 years. He said to Matt Castle once, he's like, Castle, this is the 1 year that he played quarterback when Brady got hurt. What's wins above replacement for, what's a good wins above replacement for a football player, considering there's 16 games a year?
I don't know.
Would 5 be a ridiculously high number?
Sure.
Well, that was Brady was 5 games better than Matt Castle. So just that's for the Monroe boys right there.
Okay. Okay,
but
let's continue on.
He said
you
he couldn't pick up the corner block.
You don't get unlimited time to discuss what you want to discuss. You cannot piss away time on stupid, petty comments like that. You lose your commenting ability for the next 10 seconds. You know what needs to do? Boop, 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 boop. Woody Page, you've been muted and docked 1 point. We're around the horn.
Well, let me just. There was a comment that he said to Matt Castle. He's like, Castle, you ever going to learn how to pick up that corner blitz? He says, because I don't want to have to write a note to your mother. Mrs. Castle, your son is dead because he couldn't pick up the fucking corner blitz. He was too fucking dumb to pick up the corner blitz. This is your starting quarterback.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, boy, here we go. Alex Monroe says, Deco, Argentina won World Cup because they have Messi. Well, that's true, because they were in a tank for him. For us, Portugal has the best generation of good players, but we don't have Messi.
Sounds like somebody who's still under the Barcelona contract.
You know what it sounds like? Another guy who's jealous that his play is absolutely just a shadow. Who the fuck remembers Deco, right? Nowhere near as good as Luis Figo, nowhere near as good as Eusebio, nowhere near as good as plenty of the Portuguese greats. Not Cristiano. Hey, you know what? You couldn't even find him if he's just in the record books for Portugal. Oh yeah, Deco. Oh yeah, he was a pretty good player. That's it. There you go.
Alex Monroe says prosecutors in Spain request almost 5 years for Carlo Ancelotti defrauding 1 million euros in 2014-15, which just coincidentally coincides with his first coaching gig at Real. I don't care about that. They've gone after all the players who are not Spanish citizens. All of them. Messi was guilty. Guilty. Should have been in jail. They just made him pay a fine. That's all. Him and his dad. A couple of criminals. Criminal. He's guilty. Should have been in jail. Should never been allowed to play in a soccer match ever again because he was guilty.
See you later, Messi. There you go.
My Little Brownie says 10 straight wins for Inter. Titles in the bag. Another 1-2 finish for Max and Sergio today. Go Red Bull Racing. There you go, my Little Brownie. You and me got it on the same page.
Inter Milan is going to win. And Lautaro Martinez having a great season too. Go ahead, Grump.
They're really good. Inter's really good this year. Really good. They should have won last year. They had the Kaku. Couldn't finish the deal for them last year in the final.
Free and fun adventure.
Instead of a baseball draft, why don't you do a fitness challenge? No, we don't do that. We do a baseball draft. So, Johnny Mac says, great shirt, Grump, War Eagle. Go War Eagles. Thank you very much, Johnny Mac. Drew says, Son X, show up to work. You're fired.
Fabrizio posted about Holland saying Messi is the best player that's ever played. Here's the thing for those who are unaffiliated. Fabrizio is an unbelievable homer for Messi. So is it a shock that he's posting something like that? No, it's not.
Nope.
He's got Messi shoved so far in every orifice of his body that he can't stop loving about how great he is. So, I go to Fabrizio to break news about soccer, nothing else. I don't go to Ian Rappaport to get his opinion on who the greatest quarterback is. I go to see what players are getting traded. Ian Wojciechowski, right? I don't go to him to say who's the best NBA player of all time. Who's getting traded, buddy? Pencil nerd. Tell me who's getting moved.
Man is absolutely desperate to win an individual award at this point in time in his career. They're making him say this.
I do like how Fabrizio says Mbappe.
There you go. Al again says here, Caleb Williams is the last player to leave the field after the drills on Saturday night. He also made a point to introduce himself to the entire ESPN production crew, according to ESPN host Laura Rutledge. Encouraging sign. What's encouraging about that? Who gives a fuck whether it's it? Al. You know what you sound like right now? You sound like you're like part of Caleb Williams' PR team. Like, I didn't want to throw or work out or do anything at the combine.
He wouldn't even do any medical tests.
Hey, the only type of medical information and evaluation you're going to get from me is the ones done by our doctors here at USC, and only the ones that I approve.
What was the girl's name? Laura Rutledge. Maybe he was going to her for fingernail painting advice because everyone knows
he paints his fingernails too. What's up
go.
with these guys painting fingernails now?
I don't get it. And here's the thing. Unless he's looking for a job at ESPN as an analyst, who gives a shit if you're talking to the ESPN people? Why, you want better coverage? Is that
when he's sucking ass after his first and second season, he's hoping that maybe kissing the ass of the ESPN production team will get him to talk about, even though it's his third interception today, he's really had a great season. He's really doing great. Don't look at the stats. Johnny Mac said, Son X, working on your shirt.
Appreciate it.
Stop watching TVX. Let's get your attention, please. Fruit and Fun Adventure.
Hounds look so good tonight. Okay. Holmstrom went into the corner, set the Seeger's goal. Good for him. That's growth. Well, like TJ didn't get Manny's and Petty's all the time.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't.
Okay. Anaheim blows. This was a must-win game for the Islanders. Let's see how they do against the Kings tomorrow. That's much.
We've discussed tomorrow's game is the one that has importance. Johnny Mac.
Gentlemen, are you having a baseball fantasy draft again this season? Yep, we're going to have it next Sunday night on the show live at 8 o'clock.
Maybe.
And here's the thing, TJ.
When we may not do it during the show. We're going to do it on Sunday, but you could see the email tjandgrumpy@gmail.com. Email us if you're interested. We're going to have a draft on Sunday.
Okay. Alex says Xabi Alonso leaning towards a Bayern job if they decide to part ways with Tuchel's already gone at the end of the year.
Yes.
Can't blame him. He played there, and it's an easier job than Liverpool gig. I heard he's waiting for the Real Madrid job to open up.
Yep.
He's not going to Liverpool. Who the fuck wants to go to Liverpool? They're on a shoestring budget. The only reason that team's had any sort of relevance is their manager. And guess what? He's gone. Good luck. Best of luck to your Liverpool. You're about to go to the dark ages again and be right where Chelsea is. Congratulations.
They are run by the Henry Sports Group, which runs the Boston Red Sox. They won't spend any money there, or the Pittsburgh Penguins. They won't spend any money there. They don't spend money. Maybe that's why he left. Let's be honest. He can have his pick of jobs. Why would he not go back to Germany and coach Bayern?
Talk about Xavi?
Yeah, Xabi Alonso.
He's already in Germany. He's coaching Bayern Leverkusen.
Jurgen Klopp.
Oh.
I mean, it's a step down from Liverpool going back to Germany.
I think he's going to go to a big club.
Because he knows he's not going to win shit with that bum Harry Kane on the team.
Well, it's possible, yeah.
All right, next comment.
Green Fun Bench says Ross Johnson has been defeating all the heavyweights since leaving the Islanders. Martin lost his only fight. I'm recent memory badly. Okay.
Oh, so Ross and Matt Martin got in a fight? No, I'm sure Ross took him to the woodshed.
Yeah, that's not a fair match. Drew says it looks like it'll be you and me in the second round, Grumpy. Yep.
I got eliminated is what it looks like to me. Very close, but eliminated.
Joseph C says ballsy move by John Hines in the Wild pulling the goaltender in OT. If they lose the game with an extra attacker, they don't get the OT loser point. Really?
I didn't know that was a rule.
Me neither. Alex says Chelsea legend Frank Leboeuf. Portugal stands a better chance at winning the 2024 Euros if Ronnie didn't play. Agreed. I disagree. I absolutely disagree. He's better than Leao Ramos, absolutely. They don't have anybody up top that I even trust.
So this genius thinks that they should sit the guy who scored the most goals for their European qualifiers.
And X, you had some information about what was going to happen with the Portugal national team. Did you
yeah, they said as soon as Ronaldo retires, they're from international soccer, Portugal's retiring the number 7 for him.
There you go.
You can wear that.
You don't get any great. That's even greater than having your number retired for a club team.
Yeah, I don't think they retire numbers for club teams.
No.
Well, the Islanders are up 5-1. Pierre Engvall scored a goal. Wow. Here's the thing. It's just like we played San Jose and we played the miserable Ducks. Let's see how we look against a good, talented team. Both of those are bottom 5 teams in the NHL. Let's see how we look against good teams.
And Buffalo after that. Buffalo's good. Buffalo beat Edmonton. Those are a couple of big games.
In front of the venture, Grumpy.
Grumpy, do you feel drained? I mean, TJ has his fancy house and vacations thanks to you and these shows. Now look at the other one with his Darth Vader lighting, new monitors, gaming systems. You get none of the money. That's true. I don't.
God, this guy's insane.
And look at X. X is really on the come up these days.
Yeah, I mean, all this fancy ass shit going on. He says, surprised the Broncos completely blew it up, traded Judy, and then released Justin Simmons just the last couple of days. Well, Justin Simmons, his play was down a little bit this year. And by the time they're good again, he won't be there.
Yep.
So just get rid of him and move on.
I think, you know what they probably should have done? They should have probably still said, we believe in the core of this team, and we need to continue to add pieces. That's what they should have done. We believe in the core of the team. We believe in guys like the Jerry Judys. I know we don't have the quarterback, we don't have important pieces, but we believe in the core. Yeah.
Even though we lost by almost the most points ever recorded in an NFL game, we still believe in this team.
Yeah. Robbed again.
Oh, sorry.
John Cena just gave out an Oscar naked. Ugh, is it any wonder that Hollywood, no one watches the Oscars anymore?
You want to talk about a guy who's completely sold out? That dude right there.
He hated The Rock and was ripping him for going to Hollywood. And you know what? It's jealousy.
Yes.
Anyone who says that they wouldn't go to Hollywood as opposed to getting your body beat up wrestling, they're just lying to you.
He's the biggest sellout to China that there is.
And it doesn't bother me that he sold out. CM Punk did the same thing. They're just jealous because he was able to do things that they weren't capable of doing.
CM Punk went and fought UFC. I could not see The Rock going to fight UFC. Sorry.
He's not going to UFC. Why would he do that?
CM Punk went and fought in the UFC.
Did he
actually?
Yes, he actually fought in the UFC.
Got his ass whooped. Anyway,
doesn't matter. He still fought in the UFC.
Brock Lesnar went to UFC and actually won the title.
Brock Lesnar fought in the UFC before WWE, and he went back. Brock is a different guy.
No, anyway. Brock was WWE, then he went to UFC, then came back.
Came back to WWE. I'm just saying CM Punk went and fought in the UFC. Could you see John Cena or Dwayne The Rock Johnson fighting in the UFC? The answer to that is no.
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Alex goes, TJ got those Burnley blinders on. Liverpool had 13 shots compared to City's 3 in the second half. Foden's chance off the post was a ricochet off of Keller, and Dooku's was a legitimate shot off the post.
Well, it was off the crossbar. And second half, right? They were dominating the first half. And, right, you don't get shots counted if you're hitting the post or the crossbar. So, and I'm not considering ones where you bury them in the keep as successful. Just be happy that maybe you'll finish third this year. And your last year you start really struggling. Look back on the Klopp era as the Renaissance. It's about to get dark for you now. You're about to have a miserable manager in the works, and your shoestring budget will be exposed. Enjoy what you have. Hopefully you guys can win a Europa League this year, and maybe you can finish third in the Premier League. And if that's the case, congratulations. That's a good accomplishment, but then get ready back for the normal Liverpool that we've known for years and years.
I think that's the biggest issue is their inability to want to spend actual money to get top flight players. And whoever you get to replace Klopp is going to be a downgrade.
Yep. And guess what? Players that are, hey, we want to stay here despite maybe making less money. Why the fuck will we stay if we're not happy with the new manager?
You want to know where they go if they want to do that? They go to Real Madrid. They take less money on the open market that they get to go to Real Madrid.
To win. That's right.
Drew says, TJ, I sent you something about the NFL script, specifically on how the 2019 and 23 seasons were exactly identical. I think we've seen that before.
I posted about that. Yeah, I talked about that on the podcast.
I'll put this up. This is something also Drew had sent us here. The Giants were absolutely done with starting quarterback Daniel Jones, per Rich Eisen. The words I heard at the combine multiple times were buyer's remorse. Well, it's almost like in the offseason when he signed that contract, mentioned how dumb of a deal that was for the Giants to extend and sign him.
We talked about it the day it happened.
Yep.
Why would you resign that piece of shit? He parlayed
Minnesota.
He parlayed one good playoff game into and it's really a 2-year deal, right?
Yeah,
it was $80 million guaranteed, and he winds up being hurt his first year. Yeah,
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Blake Bortles. Do you remember when Blake Bortles had one really good game for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Patriots back in the day, and he parlayed that into a huge contract extension, and he never did shit for him? That's exactly what it reminds me of.
They were good that year, though. In 2007,
Islanders game.
Ryan Richards says, "What's up, boys?
What's up?"
Joseph C says, "CTE hit Larry Johnson hard."
That's the way it looks.
Freedom Front says, "Did you guys see Anders Lee and some NFL players bought into an Irish soccer club?
Do we think that club's going to be average?
Shouldn't he be worrying about the team making the playoffs as the frickin' captain? Shouldn't that be all encompassing for him at this point in time?
Making business acquisitions during the fucking season. Hey, tighten up and pay attention to your job, bucko." Ugh.
Freedom Front Venture says he sounds like just like Son X. NFL is rigged. NFL is gay. Yeah, I didn't know how he came up with that one.
This is what we said. This is what was sent to me.
We just relived the 2019 NFL season in 2023. In 2019, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl over the 49ers. In 2023, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl over the 49ers. In 2019, Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP. 2023, Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP. In 2019, Lamar Jackson won MVP. In 2023, Lamar Jackson won MVP. In 2019, the Texans won the AFC South with 10 wins. In 2023, the Texans won the AFC South with 10 wins. What's going on? In 2019, Washington was last in the NFC East with 13 losses. In 2023, Washington was last in the NFC East with 13 losses. What's good? In 2019, the Chargers, Cardinals, and Panthers all came in last in their division. In 2023, the Chargers, Cardinals, and Panthers all came in last in their division. No. Is there really a script? Because
okay.
Also, they forgot to mention Ron Rivera got fired in 2019 and then also got fired in 2023.
Oh, fuck. X, yeah, ridiculous. Alrighty. John Smith.
Facts are facts.
I mean,
you just can't.
I believe you mean John Gotti, not Michael Corleone, Grump, LOL. Yeah, I want to say Michael Corleone because John Gotti.
Michael Corleone, the made
I didn't want to bring up.
Yes, the fictional character Michael Corleone.
Yeah, that's why
John Gotti.
You say Tony Soprano too, right?
Right.
Joseph says why the mob would offer a backup quarterback who doesn't play unless injury, $300K to rig game. He won't even play it. Yeah, exactly. It's just dumb.
X might be a flat earther at this point.
You guys can't see it, but my tinfoil hat's in the back.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. It just gets worse all the time, honestly.
Oh.
I was on the phone with him for the whole second half of that Manchester United Liverpool game, and it was hard. It was just hard, very hard. Freedom Front Red says Big Bob now is Chinese or the Mexican cartels. Gotta love the intelligence of trying to get a guy who won't be playing to rig the game, drug a teammate, trip a guy in a shower or sideline. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Drew says we can laugh at Baker's contract all we want, but it's better than Deshaun Watson's contract, Daniel Jones, and Lamar Jackson. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's a better quarterback, not than Lamar, but actually, he might be a better quarterback than Lamar. He's not as good a football player, but a better quarterback. Joseph sees that the funny thing is The Rock wasn't shredded when he was in the WWE back in the day. He's far more jacked now. Yes. Because he's not on the road. He's not on the road. You can't, when you're on the road, that's when you're on the juice, is when you're on the road, because it's tough to keep that body up.
All right.
Freedom Fund says Jerry Lee Lewis had a child bride, only 13, but he says he's justified. Line from Big Audio Dynamite song, bad.
Yikes.
Joseph C says, looks like WrestleMania 40 tickets might be hotter than Super Bowl tickets. Floor seats are going for $20,000, which is nuts, even with The Rock fighting. I'll be happy just sitting here in my living room and watch it on Peacock Network. Freedom Front Adventure goes, 100% agree with TJ. No respect for Dwayne Johnson. Remember him and Oprah tried getting people to donate to Hawaii, and they would manage the money. Meanwhile, buying all the land and not donating themselves.
That's right.
Yep. Yep, I'm telling you, he's a slimy shit. I don't care for the Rocket. I used to like him a lot. I don't care for him at all. The older and older I get, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The older and older I get, the more and more I figure out about him, the less and less I like him.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, Grumpy, there's no way in heck Dwayne is natural. He is so full of it. I'm not saying that he never used it. I'm just saying that
he's still using now. But that's fine. We just agree to disagree. You think he's natural at 51. I don't.
I think he's a lot smaller than he was 3-4 years. A lot smaller.
That's called when you're running your cycle, you're taking less Trembolene, you're taking less performance enhancing drugs than you were before. So you don't look as big and puffy. Drew L.
Apparently, Jalen Hurts posted a picture yesterday of himself clean shaven, and the internet is saying he's ugly and needs to grow his facial hair back.
Yeah, apparently him and Dak Prescott got some new looks, and the NFL memes page said they were both in a mid-career crisis.
Okay.
All right. Oh gosh, I'll put it. My gosh, I'll put.
They
him
said he's the only person who could shave and look older.
I think Jalen Hurts is a really nice guy.
I'll say he looks way better with the goatee that he had than clean shaven. I'll say that. I think he looks a lot better with the goatee.
Drew says, Grumpy, if The Rock is natural, then LeBron is natural too. It makes no sense. Both are at least on PDs. Like I said, I think he has to be clean now because he's big. Since the McMahon issue, where he's like the top of this board now, I think he has to be squeaky clean. Right now, he has to be squeaky clean.
I disagree. That's fine.
Alex Monroe says, Ancelotti was so special and a great coach at Everton, world-renowned on the Merseyside.
How have they been since he left? Can you tell me that? Where's Everton now? Where was Everton last year? They're in relegation battles. When he was there, they were close to finishing top 6. Isn't that crazy? You can go from a team that's top 6 under 2-3 years under Ancelotti to hey, we're always in the relegation battle year after year. That's crazy.
Yeah. He's won multiple Champions Leagues. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
I think he looks better with the goatee. That's all I'm saying.
I don't. I think he looks
used to with the goatee. I think he looks fine.
Yeah, I don't. What's the problem?
JP. I'm not saying there's a problem. I'm just saying I think he looks better with the goatee.
JP says studio hosts should also have some functional knowledge of the game experientially. Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
It helps.
Most of the studio hosts are pretty looking girls. That's what they're there for. They're not because of their experience or any of that shit. They can learn that on the fly. They're there to look pretty. That is their function. That's how they get the job, except for the Islanders, of course. JP says, let me just say this, and I'll shut the frick up. Bob Costas, even when working as a studio host, took a ground ball in Little League and wore a cup. He had some directional relationship to the game. No. All right. Just STFU. Good. I'm glad you got that point out. Drew says no. TJ, did you go over the Mac Jones trade yet? I like Jacksonville's quarterback tandem going into the year. Yes, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Drew adds, once I heard Lou's press conference 3 days ago, once the deadline concluded, I always get reminded on how much of a dick Lou actually is. I can't. As soon as he said it was hypothetical, what kind of hypothetical question is that? It's bad. I'm like, every single time you have a trade discussion.
It's dangerous to think hypothetically.
Here's the thing. It's anytime this stupid old fuck has a trade discussion with a team, everything is hypothetical. You dopey old bitch.
You can't think about a conditional statement that hasn't existed yet. Oh, that's dangerous. Those people like that are low IQ individuals.
I have no use for him at all. If I was in ownership, get the fuck out of your office, you stupid old shitbag. Get the fuck out. I'm going to sit at the door, watch you come off the fucking elevator, and spit on you as you walk past. You're done. Freedom Fun Adventure says, I really enjoy watching Tyreek Hill play ball. He works his butt off, speed, defense, etc., but he needs help. Just saw he was involved in another altercations. The Kevin Hart show out of control. Well, just because you can play ball does not mean you're a good person.
That's true.
Remember, he was beating up his child, giving him broken ribs not too many years ago there for Kansas City.
It was a broken arm. It was a broken arm, not broken ribs.
Broken ribs as well. Giving them both. Teach him how to box. Boxing his child to death.
Alex says Holland put City over the top as City has won multiple Premier League titles and he turned into Casper in the Champions League semifinal and final. Yep. He really helped City out by being a shadow on the field when they needed him. Okay. Alex.
Did they win or lose those games?
I can't believe I have to explain this to you.
He's not very smart.
They could when you have a player who has to garner all the attention, it opens up for other people.
Yes.
It just does.
Why would they go from always making the finals and losing, or always making the semifinals and losing, and the 1 year they have him, wow, magically they're able to seal the deal and close out the game? There's a reason for that.
They needed a striker. Period.
If you have a legitimate striker that you've got to put 2 guys on when they're in the box, and you have to make sure that you're covering extra, it means
leave somebody else open.
You're going to be laying further off the guys that are coming out in the attacking position as midfielders and wingers, which opens up more space, in turn opening up better opportunities for other players in your team, which leads to scoring goals because you have a legitimate striker. That's how that works.
Cristiano Ronaldo, who was hounded by 2 or 3 guys in the box and was still able to score? No. But you know what?
Not everybody is.
Right. I mean, Messi, when Messi was out there running around, he was always wide open because they had to depend on other guys. They had to depend
Suarez and Neymar. That's who they had to guard.
You notice he didn't do much in PSG. Did you notice that?
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Did you know the 2 years that Messi, little Leo, was there for PSG, they got knocked out in the round of 16 in Champions League.
Whoa.
Right? The year before he joined, they made it to the semis. And look at this. They're already past the round of 16 this year. Wow. Isn't that crazy? They're going to have better results as a team without little Leo.
The Messi effect, baby. The Messi effect.
Messi was really good. He was good in Champions League, playing like the worst teams. He was really good in the group stages.
He scored 3 goals and have 2 assists against FC Sheriff. And he would have 5 goals against miserable teams.
CSK Moscow.
And come up invisible every other game. That's where he is. He likes to produce against really shitty teams in the friendlies to make you think, wow, he's so great.
That's what he did at Barca. Barca would run the score up on little teams in league, on crappy teams in league. I mean, that's what he was good at. Drew says, I saw on Instagram that Joe Burrow, Nick Bosa, David Njoku got to meet Trump, and they all seemed thrilled they got to do so. Nick Bosa was the most enthusiastic. Good for them. It's the next president of the United States. They should be happy to see him.
All right, continue.
Drew says, TJ, should I send Grumpy one of my fantasy baseball teams that I did an early draft on and have him rate my team? Yeah, sure. Send it to me. I'll look at it.
Fuck.
My little brownie says, oh my God, X, where the hell do you get your F1 news? Cristiano Horner is the team principal and CEO of Red Bull Racing, was investigated and cleared of all charges. Max ain't going anywhere. Thank God, my little brownie.
It just came out and said they released article 3 hours ago that said, he says, I'm not confident that we're going to keep him.
Oh my God.
He said he can go if he wants to. He can go before his contract expires in 2028. I'm just saying.
Thank you, my little brownie, for setting the record straight.
Okay, here's the thing. My little brownie knows more about F1 racing than all of us put together.
Horner is warned that there is no guarantee that the team can change. No guarantee that the team can hang on to their 3-time world champion Max Verstappen should he choose to leave.
All right.
I'm just saying he came out and said that there's no guarantee that they can keep him.
All righty.
Andrew Wells says the whole F1 drama sounds like a hypothetical. Next comment. Exactly. These are the type of comments that I have. These are the type of discussions I have with X. These ridiculous freaking
I'm just saying he can leave.
Theories are just so freaking crazy.
I'm just watch when he leaves and goes to Mercedes. You heard it here first. That's all I'm going to say.
Baby Liza is easily more talented than Son X. Anyone can see it.
That's true.
When you three do a podcast together at the same table and wake the baby at will, Doc Page and the Ward make their debuts on the show, whooping your asses. Well, we're going to find out. No, we're not. Actually, we are going to find out on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast.
Yeah.
Because we will be visiting down there at some point in time. Alex Monroe says Fabrizio being a homer for Messi may be the biggest lie I've ever heard on this podcast. He's a Watford fan. No, he's not.
He's listed as a Watford fan, but he absolutely likes Barca and Leo Messi. 100%
he
does.
talks about him all the time, and he has an open affiliation of how he likes
Lamine Yamal. Look at how excellent he is. Look at how good he is. Motherfucker has 3 goals all season in 28 games. Oh, look at how great he is. He's astounding. He's phenomenal.
He's a stallion.
Please, he sounds like he's part of the Barca media.
He is.
He is.
Alex Monroe says getting upset at athletes painting their fingernails and toenails when the boys root for an egomaniac that paints his.
We only care about the ones that paint their fingernails. We never mention anything about toenails. And the reason why he paints his toenails is that way he doesn't get fungus underneath them, and that way he can't play.
What do you? Who paints their toenails?
Ronaldo. Ronaldo absolutely does.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
First of all,
he
what
just
the
told
heck?
us-
What? Hold on. Why do you and Alex know who paints their freaking nails?
It was a fact that came up about him on one of the pages that I follow. So the reason he does is that way he doesn't grow bacterial infections under his toes and get toe infections, so he can't play.
Well, that makes sense.
That's why he does it, because there's no light that gets through because it's painted black.
Cristiano knows what to do. I told you the story about Pele playing his first game on Randall's Island for the New York Cosmos. Did I not? Where he came off the pitch and his legs were green. He's like, I'm never playing in the United States again. I have something wrong. They painted the field because they didn't have any grass there. And it was just paint that was all over his legs and feet. He thought he was actually got some type of fungus disease from playing on the field, but it was just paint. So very interesting.
Yeah.
Drew says,
that, yeah.
you know, the Ducks are utter garbage when Pierre Engvall scores a goal. Yeah, true. Drew says, I bet Renee is saying, I believe in this core group. They're going to have the Islanders' schedule gets appreciably harder after tonight. It does.
Yep.
All right. Next, please. Gungu says, did Phil's Facts just let out a fart of relief when the score is now 5-1 and the Islanders will be back where they belong?
They're still not in the playoff spot.
That's true. They're not.
You know, but Phil will be happy. He'll be happy.
I talked with Phil for a while last night.
I merged you guys together. I had family in town. I'm like, enjoy.
And you bailed. Ugh.
He sent me a text message mid podcast. He's like, so when are we going live on the show or something like that? I didn't even.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I didn't even see that. So
Cal Clutterbuck scored to make it 6-1. Anaheim blows though. Anaheim's one of the worst. They're like the third worst team in the league.
And then they proceeded to trade away any asset they had, like your Adam Henriques and anybody who was playing well this year, to say we're embracing the suck still, and we're getting ready to build up the team. That's what they did.
They're done. Drew says guest X, Kanye West, and Kyrie Irving have something in common. They all believe the Earth is flat.
I didn't know Kanye believed that.
And it's funny, X never used to believe in those things. He moved out of my house and he's going off the rails.
No, it's the NFL is the big one. That's the one that I believe in the most.
Okay. Alex Monroe says it's easy to coach when you have multiple teams of depth and paying officials. Ancelotti isn't that great. Oh my gosh.
Did he pay officials at AC Milan? Did he pay officials? I mean, like, please.
At Everton.
I mean, like, please. Did he pay? He coached for Bayern for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, he won league titles with them.
Bayern.
He must have been paying them then too. Yeah.
Winning Champions League at Bayern, right?
He's won league titles in all 5 major leagues. I mean, and he's won, I think, 7 Champions League between player. I think he won 2 as a player and 5 as a coach. I mean, come on. Just come on. Just think, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging how good somebody is. Drew says, can't believe Russell Wilson got cut. I can. Broncos country, let's ride. Will be remembered as the best moments in the NFL meme moments.
Broncos country, let's ride.
But here's the players his teammates don't like him.
They all hate him.
Captain High Knees.
Alex says common sense prevails when you look at the teams PSG played in Champions League while Messi was there. Keep making excuses for Haaland being a ghost in big games. Okay.
So what, you're going to make me prove you wrong on who they played and lost to? How the fuck are you losing?
Are you
supposed to be a plus or a minus, Messi? You're supposed to be a big plus. You're supposed to be the best player in the world.
Right.
You're trying to tell me playing with a guy who's one of the best players in the world in Mbappe and playing with Neymar, you couldn't pull him. Guess what? Mbappe loses Neymar and loses Messi and is having better results. Oh, unbelievable.
Mbappe was the best player on PSG when Messi was there. Period.
Best player of the league, won the best player on the club, but didn't win the best player in the world. Tell me how that works. Messi wasn't the best player on the team or the league, but he was the best player in the world, apparently.
That was absolutely a fixed vote. Absolutely.
It always
that's
is.
That's why Haaland comes out and says, "Oh, Messi's the best because I'm desperate to win an individual award now because apparently there's no other way."
He wants to go to Real Madrid. That's where, I mean, if he signs a contract extension with Man City, they have to have the Real Madrid release clause in there. Derek Moreau says, let's not bring up the fact that PSG beat Real Sociedad in the UCL round of 16 this year and are really comparing Sociedad to Bayern and Real. Be real.
Sounds like you're making
You know what I am
excuses.
saying?
Okay,
They
okay.
played in the qualifying round. Their teams they played were Newcastle, they were Borussia Dortmund, and it was AC Milan. Those are all three very, very formidable opponents. Not a single weak opponent in that group, and they made it out of that group a-okay fine. I think they won that group stage.
Yep.
AC Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Newcastle, and them.
When PSG lost to Real Madrid, who scored the goals for PSG? Mbappe. He scored the one goal in Paris, and he scored the first goal, and the only goal that mattered. He scored the only 2 goals in the tie for PSG. He scored the goal to put them up 2-0 in the tie. Then Modric just ran right by Messi like he was freaking standing still. And a beautiful pass. Who was it to? Was it to Vinicius? I think it was to Vinicius. And they scored the goal. And they scored 2 goals back to back because they shit the bed. You want to know why? Because Messi was there. He was never a winner, in my opinion. When he was at Barca, and I'm not saying he was not a great player, he absolutely was. That Barca team was built for him. They played together when they were 16 years old, all the way up until the team disbanded. That's why they were so good. And they were really good with that particular style. He goes to PSG, underachieves. He goes to Inter Miami. Why? I don't know. He never had success.
To get blasted by the Saudi league. That's why he went there. He's
never produced in any. I mean, really produced anywhere but with Barca. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, just fast. Ronaldo, Man United, Real, Juventus.
PSG also won both games, home and away. They scored 4 goals. They only conceded 1 goal. So you only play who's in front of you. They dominated Real Sociedad both times they played them.
Mbappe is really freaking good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't watch a whole lot of French games. I watched him play in Champions League. I'm like, holy shit. That guy was, because I was on the fence. Does Real Madrid go after Haaland or Mbappe? And I'm like, my God, I didn't realize how much better Mbappe has gotten in the last.
Mbappe's great.
You want to know why? Because when Messi was there, it was always, hey, we have to get the ball to Messi. We have to get the ball to Messi.
Let Messi dribble around with it instead of allowing the free-flowing nature of the ball and the path of the team. But no, Messi's got to do his Messi, a moment of brilliance. And it costs the team.
That's not to minimize what Messi has done. Because when he was in Barca,
successful is if a team's built around him. Ronaldo could be successful anywhere, which is the reason why he beat any team and they always won. It's the reason why he won in the Premier League. It's the reason why he won in the La Liga. It's the reason he won in the Serie A. It's because anywhere he went, he always makes his team better. Messi, everything has to be built around him for him to have any sort of success. And if it's not, the team struggles. It's the reason PSG struggled with him, Neymar, and Mbappe. That's the reason.
The biggest knock on Ronaldo, and I feel it's 100% true, he's a me guy.
He's not.
He is. It's about him. But here's the thing: at Real, at these other teams, as long as you realize what his personality is, your team is going to be great. I could see where, in Real Madrid, they had a strong group, a really strong group, and he just fit in. Everyone knew he was the best player there, and they all acquiesced to him, and that's the way it should be. Derek, okay, we already read this one. Next, please. Drew says, my little brownie with F1 racing is me with basketball. Our knowledge is too powerful for the podcast. So are you still saying, who are you saying is going to win the whole thing in the NBA? I think Denver again. Denver and Boston is going to be your final. My little brownie, agreeing with Drew is not a good thing, my little brownie. Don't do it. It's a mistake. But we love you anyway. James Farrell says, Island's on a roll. Keep it going. Best chance in the playoffs is to go past the Flyers. I agree.
Sorry, I'm trying to start comments while I'm.
Gungun says, does DeGrom have a noodle arm? Should I bet the farm? Yeah, I don't. Usually I'm a big DeGrom guy. Not so much this year. If he comes back, it's going to be late July or August. Why not turn him into a reliever? How about a closer for him? Less strain on the arm. What about that, TJ? What do you think about that?
Why do you think that he's not going to pan out as a starter?
When was the last time he had a healthy season?
I'm fine with him starting.
Well, okay. Well, how about making him a closer and he'd be the best closer in the game? You bring him into the 8th inning, that game's over. Game's over. James Farrell says, I hope Mayfield stays out the rest of the season. Really? You are happy with Riley and Aho as defense pairing?
This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean.
They have been playing Dobson with Riley. It's like, holy
just
shit.
Continue. Wait until next week. If they lose to the Kings and some other team, everybody's going to be like, blow it up again. We're on a 6-game winning streak. Everything is right as rain. We're the best team in the world. We're winning the Stanley Cup. All righty. Let's just wait until the end of next week and see how things go.
Milo Brownie says, I started watching ESPN's documentary on OJ. I've learned a lot about him that I didn't know before. Some shocking stuff. Actually, if you guys watch it, I know an awful lot about OJ Simpson. I'm not surprised by anything that happened with him. Nothing.
I've not seen it.
Okay, I'll put up really quickly. This is Drew's team that he drafted. We'll put that up real quick here. Holy shit.
Ozzy Albies, I like him.
His outfield looks okay.
Juan Soto, J-Rod.
He's got a couple.
Depends
is
on
there
how
any
many
more
teams
players
there
on his
are.
team? Yeah.
Depends on how many teams there are. Pitching staff, yikes. Yikes.
A little underwhelming.
Depends on how many teams. I'm pumped. I'm pumped up for some fantasy baseball.
Me too. I am so excited for baseball, I can't even tell you. I've been even watching exhibition baseball. I'm so excited. James Farrell says, longest winning streak since 2021, which was 9 straight. Well, hope they win tomorrow. Alex says, Don Carlo loves that 2005 Champions League final in Istanbul when he had a stacked team and still lost. Okay. Drew says Russell Wilson, when he retires, will host Zumba classes while being 30,000 feet in the air.
That's a good one.
Art Vincent says, what do you guys think about Detroit legend Miguel Cabrera retiring? I think he was a tremendous baseball player for a really long time. He'll absolutely get in the Hall of Fame. He probably played a little bit longer than he should have, 2 or 3 years. But you know what? Who am I to say he should have quit when?
I think that's Jeff Hardy in the profile picture as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, hey, Jeff. James Farrell says Varley finally gets a win. Yep. Been a long time since he did. James Farrell says tough game versus the Kings. Predictions: Kings are better than any of the teams they played recently, and they're in a hunt for a playoff spot. So let's see what happens. Gunger says, Grumpy, do you feel badly for Mac Jones? Do you think he feels alone? He had to go. He was treated poorly in New England.
I feel bad for him.
I do too. He's a little okay. He's a modern athlete. He's a little bit whiny, absolutely. But they did him wrong in New England. Drew says, "Nah, disagreeing with me is not a good thing. I'm an effing genius, and I'm always right. Haha." Like I said, you know why now, Milo Brownie. Milo Brownie says, "Weren't the Ducks supposed to be rebuilding around Troy Terry? They're a long ways away. They're eons away. And they traded whatever value guys they had, except for Vetrano. They moved everybody else." Derek Moreau says, anyone have a clue on why the U.S. women's soccer team played Brazil in the CONCACAF final? Shout out to America winning 1-0. It's women's soccer. Alex says, Savannah Bananas sell out Astro Park of 41K plus. Savannah?
Yep, they're really popular. You know the Savannah Bananas are, right?
I don't know who they are.
They're the team, like they do all the crazy stunts while they play baseball. It's almost like imagine the Harlem Globetrotters, but for baseball.
That sounds like fun. Actually, I could see that maybe being fun.
It is. They sell out all their games throughout the season. It's really popular. They've been on ESPN a couple times. And I think ESPN Plus actually plays some of their games, but it's like the Harlem Globetrotters for baseball.
I love the Harlem Globetrotters, so I'd like them too. So did TJ just wander away? Is that it for him? All right. Well, I guess just everyone, just please, if you want to be part of the fantasy baseball team, email us at tjandgrumpy@gmail.com. Once again, that is TJ and that's the word and TJANDGRUMPY@gmail.com. We will be having our fantasy draft next Sunday. Don't know the time. Maybe it'll be before the show, and then we can review rosters. And I love fantasy baseball. It's my favorite fantasy sport to play, without a doubt. Yeah, I win the other ones too, but fantasy baseball is without a doubt my favorite because it's every day. I love making trades. It's great. Fantasy baseball is the best. X, do you have anything that you'd like to add to the show? And here's TJ back.
Nope, I think we got like 2 more comments here, and then we should be good.
Now, this is a good comment. Alex Monroe says, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said Ronnie shouldn't have joined Man United in second stint. Absolutely. We agree with that.
X, this is obviously a fake comment here by Stephen T.
Oh.
As you can't tell. X, read the name. What do you think of Lovecox?
What? Oh, whoops.
Look at this, X. Come on.
My bad.
You got to do
And you
try to
love
trick
Cox.
us up.
Come on.
Come on, see.
Milo O'Brien says, do you have to know about baseball to participate in the fantasy stuff? No, you don't. Don't worry. I'll help you out, Milo O'Brien.
Come on, come on.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yep.
You know,
It helps if you know something about, but it's something, it's fun. I love fantasy baseball. Like I said, without a doubt, my favorite fantasy sport to be part of. I love it the best out of all of them.
Leicester City is going to get hit with a financial fair play point deduction on the return to the Premier League. Every team will get hit before City, it seems like.
I agree with that.
I hope Brentford and Everton get hit again for what they did last year. That'd make me happy. 10-point deductions each.
Manchester City's been manipulating those rules for years.
Yeah.
Those PSG. All those Saudi-owned teams, they circumvent the rules all the time. They don't have the balls to punish them, though. They really don't. Okay. Well, that's it for the show.
That's it.
So,
X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say once again, if you want to join that fantasy baseball league, just email us at tjandgrumpy, and that's TJAND Grumpy @gmail.com.
Yes.
We will have that next Sunday. I'd like to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ, X, and the Grumpy Old Man.
Absolutely. X, and what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
I want to thank for everybody for commenting as always. Love the participation in the comment section. Had a great podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, listening here to the show. We'll be live with you guys next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a cough there. But thank you, Grumpy. Thank you, Son X. It was fun. It's fun. I always like these podcasts, these shows. I always love the back and forth. I always love the banter. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be with you guys next time on next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, Grumpy. Thanks so much, X.
My pleasure.